Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, May 5th meeting of the Calvert County Board of Commissioners. We'd like to start with our invocation. Pastor Kathy Kinzer Downs with Freedom Ministries in St. Leonard. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Would you pray with me? Our God and our Father, we thank you so much for this day, a new day that we've never seen. God, we thank you for the blessing of having life and having the activity of our limbs. God, we thank you for the sunshine that rains outside and the warm air that's coming. God, we give you thanks and praise for this time to be together as the leaders who've committed themselves to lead this community come together to lead. Father, we pray and ask your blessing on this time and this meeting. God, we just incline our ear to you, praying that you would lead them and guide them in all that they do for this entire community. We give these things to you, praying them in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor, thank you for taking your time to come in this morning. We appreciate it greatly.
And I have a special request. Please pray for rain. I farm, and this is horrible. I mean, we've actually had to stop planting. It's so dry. And you know, what I've got planted, I'm not sure if it's going to survive. So this is the worst start I've seen in a very long time. So please pray for our farmers and that they get some rain, please.
It takes us to approval of the agenda.
Mr. President, I move that we approve and adopt the agenda as submitted.
Second.
So a motion and a second to approve and adopt the agenda as submitted. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have several proclamations today. I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself. Let's go to public service announcements. Outdoor pools open for the 2026 season. The Cove Point Pool and Kings Landing Pool open for the 2026 season May 1st. I imagine that water's still a little bit cold. Cove Point Pool is located at 750 Cove Point Road in Lusby, and Kings Landing Pool is located at 3255 Kings Landing Road in Huntingtown. Animal ordinance update. The Department of Public Safety Animal Services Division has issued new animal control regulations aimed at improving the quality of life for household pets. The regulations include limits on the outdoor tethering of dogs, protections during extreme weather, extension of dog and cat licenses to 3 years with a valid rabies vaccination, establishment of a fancier license for multiple animals, and improved standards for commercial animal operations. For more information about these changes and licensing requirements, contact Animal Services at 410-535-7387 or visit www.calvertcountyanimalshelter.com. Cove Point Playground. Renovations to the large playground at the front of Cove Point Park have begun. The refurbished playground is expected to open in early summer. Partial permit application from AWS. Calvert County government has received a partial permit application from AWS. Once the application is complete, staff will post all documents to our website project page and send an email to anyone who provided their email address to remain updated regarding data centers. We ask that you give staff time to review what has been submitted, and once more information is available, we will also provide the contact information to AWS for project-specific questions. Once the proposal is formally submitted, it will be evaluated through the established public process, including a comprehensive review in accordance with the Calvert County zoning ordinance, with all facts, details, and impacts clearly presented and opportunities provided for community input. We encourage you to continue to visit www.choosecalvert.com/data centers for information or to sign up for email notifications. That's all I have for announcements. Now we'll go to our proclamations. The first proclamation is on Ehlers-Danlos syndromes and hypermobility spectrum. Commissioner Hance is going to do that proclamation.
We have some guests. Please introduce yourselves and come on up.
Hi, I'm Catherine Stone. I'm the founder of the EDS support group of Southern Maryland, and these are some of our Calvert County members.
Come on right up front. Yep, introduce yourself at the mic, and then we'll come up for your picture. I'm just a member. My name is Jessica Carl.
Also a member, Bonnie Torres.
Zany Zita.
Keith Roberts.
Mike Labrini.
Sandra Tipton.
Greg Buckingham.
Crystal Curtis.
Leslie Steinbeck. Jennifer Moreland, Director of Community Resources.
All right. I'm going to plead my ignorance in public. Can someone talk about and explain what these issues are for people and how they impact people? You have a spokesperson? Yeah, can some?
She has a hearing impairment.
Oh,
One of my issues, hearing impairment.
so I just asked that somebody could kind of explain, because like me, a lot of people probably don't know what this.
Absolutely. So for years, 30 plus years, I was collecting diagnoses like people collect trading cards. Everything from fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, migraines, the list went on and on. During the pandemic, I got extremely ill. I had to crawl out of bed. Anybody that knows me knows that I am a very active, vocal person. I couldn't even get out of bed. I started being allergic to foods, things that didn't make sense. They finally figured out, after 30 plus years, that my gene had been mutated. We finally put the puzzles together, thanks to a doctor who looked at my files, going back to the military, and looked at my history and realized it wasn't fibromyalgia, it wasn't irritable bowel, it wasn't migraines. It was, but it was connected through my connective tissue. More and more people are coming out. Every time I open my mouth, people are finding me and saying, I have it too. I have mast cell, I have POTS. I have something going on. So I'm saying if you are in pain, if things are not adding up, it's true. It's not in your head. You may have EDS.
So is this issue very widespread? Because I've never heard of it, just being honest.
It wasn't in the beginning. It wasn't in the beginning, but a couple years ago, when she got diagnosed with EDS, every time we go somewhere, she's meeting somebody else who has EDS. These are medical issues that nobody seems to know what to do about it. And when you go to the hospital and they don't know what it is that's wrong with you, they can actually cause damage by doing something to figure it out. So she has to wear a special bracelet that tells people in the medical field that there's something extremely wrong with her, so that she doesn't get misdiagnosed and jabbed with needles and stuff like that when it could cause more harm than not. So EDS is something very aware. We were in last year's parade here in town, and we were joined by many, many people. And she keeps a sign on her car that says, if you feel sick and you don't know why, could be you have EDS. And we go places. I go with her as somebody in case she needs companionship. I'm not her husband or anything. Anyway, I'm there in case to inform people that she has medical issues. And that's what this is all about. And that's why I'm dressed up as a zebra and not Beetlejuice.
Got you. I thought maybe you just got out of jail, but you know. So if someone thinks, they hear you talk about your symptoms, if somebody thinks maybe they have that, what kind of doctor or specialist should you go to get a diagnosis?
So first they can reach out to our support group. We're on Facebook. We also have a website. It's www.eds-somd.org. And then Dr. Coons here in Calvert County is the one we've been recommending for most individuals currently.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm just being honest. I'd never heard of it until I saw the proclamation this morning. And like you said, it took a long time. I got them. Lord. And like I said, I'm learning this morning, and for somebody out there that might think they have the symptoms, where can they go? Because like you said, if you go to a regular doctor, he's going to diagnose all kinds of different things. So, and that's something you can reach out to the health department too, maybe?
Yeah. This is the lady that has EDS, and you can see she's only in her 20s. So it's not, you don't have to be 40 or 50 to have it. Yeah, it's not age related. Us old people.
Yeah, us old people.
You know, I really came up because Carrie Librini is actually a friend, and she is also Calvert County Government's former program manager for Office on Aging. And she spent her life working for our county and developing bringing evidence-based programs to help people in pain here. Living Well, which is a Stanford-based program, Carrie was responsible for bringing that program to Calvert County that helped people deal with these symptoms that they couldn't explain. And we still have that program in Calvert County, which is phenomenal. We partner with the hospital in making that program possible. But I do think it's really important that connective tissue diseases in general are being diagnosed now at a more rapid rate than they had been in the past. So making your health department and doctors aware that you believe you might have this, so proper testing and analysis can be done, I think is really important. So just really proud of Carrie because she's spent her life helping others, and now she's still doing it. She just keeps going despite her pain.
Well, I want to thank all of you for coming in today and making us aware of the public. Like I said, I just learned about it today, like I'm sure a lot of others did. And, every day we learn new things. And it's important that we get information out to help others that have the same issues. So, again, I want to thank all of you for coming out today. And we have a proclamation that maybe I won't need glasses. Whereas Ehlers-Danlos syndromes, EDS, are a group of 13 heritable connective tissue disorders with a combined prevalence of at least 1 in 5,000 individuals worldwide, and each type of EDS has its own set of symptoms, but some are seen across all types, including joint hypermobility, skin hypersensitivity, and tissue fragility. And whereas hypermobility spectrum disorders, HSD, are connective tissue disorders that cause joint hypermobility, instability, injury and pain, and other symptoms such as fatigue, headaches, GI problems, and automatic dysfunction are also seen as part of HSD. And whereas there is no cure for any type of EDS or HSD, therefore these conditions are managed by addressing symptoms in many different areas of the body, often requiring care from multiple providers across different specialties. And whereas access to professionals who are knowledgeable about EDS and HSD is limited in Calvert County, and lack of awareness worldwide stands in the way of diagnosis, management, and research of these conditions, while increased awareness by both medical professionals and the general public can help improve the lives of people living with EDS and HSD. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Calvert County Board of County Commissioners recognizes that the month of May 2026 shall be known as Ehlers-Danlos Syndromes and Hypermobility Spectrum Disorders Awareness Month in Calvert County. Be it further proclaimed that we commend all those who are committed to educating and increasing awareness of these disorders and urge all citizens to take this opportunity to learn more about EDS and HSD. Given our hands and sealed this 5th day of May 2026, signed by all 5. Thank you all again for coming in today.
Thank you.
Everyone in this front row, move over about 2 feet. A little more. You're good. Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1. This one's not better. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So the next proclamation is for Lights Out Month. Commissioner Hart.
Thank you, Mr. President. Do we have some folks here this morning? morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. On behalf of the Environmental Commission, I'm Avi Ibarra, current chair, and we have some folks here to thank you for issuing this proclamation. It's a very important proclamation. But I also want to acknowledge before we continue with some of the introductions, we'd like to recognize the following organizations who also support this cause of the lights out at night. American Chestnut Land Trust, Cove Point Natural Heritage Trust, Southern California Land Trust, Southern Maryland Audubon Society, Calvert Nature Society, Southern Maryland Sierra Club Groups, and Calvert Astronomers. So,
Come on up.
Hi, I'm Robin Maydell with the Calvert Nature Society.
Joyce, do you want to go to the mic?
Hi, I'm Joyce Backey with Calvert Nature Society.
I'm Tom Dugan with Calvert Astronomers.
Good morning. I'm Jen Ludlow with American Chestnut Land Trust, ACLT.
Joanna Lutmerding, formerly with the Environmental Commission, now a private citizen.
David Campbell with the Environmental Commission, and I'm also praying for rain, buddy.
Jim Levin with the Environmental Commission.
Summer Rowan with Planning and Zoning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Bruce Fall with the Cove Point Natural Heritage Trust.
Dr. Jeanette Wysocki with the Environmental Commission, and I have a few words about this on behalf of the Environmental Commission. So as this Board of Commissioners declared in the 2025 Revised Comprehensive Plan, Calvert County has long held the values of preserving the rural landscape. It is so important. The number one policy action identified was to continue preserving the rural landscape, promoting a strong economy, and directing commercial, industrial, and residential uses to appropriate locations. The number one vision was our landscape is dominated by forest and fields. This becomes appropriate today as we ask our community to turn lights out during May to benefit migratory birds. Migratory birds are under threat of habitat loss, mostly from deforestation due to human activities. This is of such concern internationally that the United States entered into the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, which consolidates 4 separate migratory bird protection treaties with Canada, Mexico, Japan, and Russia into one act to ensure the sustainability of all protected migratory bird species. Calvert County is in the peak of migratory bird season. Last night alone, birdcast.org estimates that 3,492,900 migratory birds crossed Calvert County between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. this morning. These birds rely on large swaths of forest, especially in the southern end of the county, in the corridor deemed ecologically significant that includes, Flag Pond State Park, Constellation, and Calvert Cliff State Park. Indeed, both the Maryland Department of Environment and Army Corps of Engineers identified multiple migratory bird species on Constellation's property in 2011, including, I might mess these up, the red-eyed vireo, wood thrush, worm-eating warbler, hooded warbler, ospreys, eastern bluebirds, and scarlet tanagers. The Army Corps of Engineers actually found 47 species of migratory birds on Constellation's property, all of which are protected under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. Each spring and fall, 70% of migratory birds travel at night to avoid predators. Nighttime light pollution from our artificial light interferes with birds' nocturnal vision. It causes them to fly off course, resulting in disorientation and other issues that can result in injury and death. As species population numbers decline, our entire ecosystem is negatively impacted. We need to do everything we can to preserve the forests we have in Calvert County to protect critical migratory bird species under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act and encourage ecotourism, which this commission recognized just last week. A couple of weeks ago, I met a couple from upstate New York who spent a week in Calvert County birding. They chose to spend money in this county to see the birds that live and travel through this area. Migratory birds are an important part of Calvert's larger natural and human ecosystem. Thank you to the commissioners for recognizing this, and thank you to Calvert's residents and businesses for turning off your lights at night during May to help these important species.
Did I introduce myself?
I don't think you did.
Yeah. You did.
So I'm going to be honest. You know how much respect I have for what all of you do. You know, it's the ecosystem is so fragile, and if one thing goes away, it's like dominoes. You know, and it's not make believe. It's seen all across the world when a certain species goes away. All of a sudden, all these things. I was watching something out in Yosemite one time, where how fragile. Like it was. I think it was like when the wolves were like that. Yeah, and. So I almost didn't sign this today, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I support everything you do, and that's why I signed this. But with the thought that we might destroy hundreds of acres in the area that you just spoke of, I don't want to seem hypocritical, because your name on things mean a lot. And if anybody ever knows you sit in an elected position, once you sign something, once you say something on TV, it lives forever. And mistakes, there's an expression I never like to say this, but one oh shoot, and you know what, that really kills 9 attaboys. So it doesn't matter how many good things you do for people, and how many things you do, a mistake. But I really struggle with this today, and I know it might sound silly, but I don't want it to be misinterpreted that, hey, Mike Hart signed this and look what he just did. Because that's how it gets misconstrued, and that is not, I would not want to do anything to diminish your efforts and everything they're trying to do to bring light to this, like I believe you're coming. Linda, do we have a date when you folks are coming? June 2nd. I would have liked to have you a year ago, but we do what we can, right? And I just want to say thank you, and I mean this with all sincerity, I really do, and I just didn't want to do anything that anybody would say anything negative, because what you're doing is huge. You're the eyes and ears of the environment. And we all, from whether you're a waterman, a farmer, just like our way of life is about this environment and the habitat here. So I just wanted to thank you. And so read this for you today. And it says, whereas the natural night sky is a shared heritage that inspires wonder and strengthens interest in science and nature among residents, visitors, and young people. Whereas light pollution has proven an economic and environmental consequence that affects the ecology and human health and limit opportunities to experience natural darkness. And whereas Calvert County preserves its rural character through deliberate planning and a lighting ordinance that protects nocturnal habitats for migratory birds and other wildlife that depend on dark skies. And whereas excessive artificial light wastes significant energy nationwide and disrupts the spring and fall migration of millions of birds that travel through Calvert County. And whereas the Environmental Commission recognizes these concerns with the Board of County Commissioners and the American Chestnut Land Trust and the Calvert Nature Society, Cove Point Natural Heritage Trust, and the Southern Maryland Society support this effort as well. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County that May 26 is recognized as Calvert County Lights Out Month. Be it further proclaimed that residents and business managers are urged to turn off unnecessary interior and exterior lights from 11 p.m. until dawn during May, to reduce unnecessary lighting throughout the year, reflect on peak migration periods for birds, and support efforts to protect Calvert County's natural light sky as a resource for all wildlife and people, given under our hands and seal this 5th of May, 2026, signed by all 5 commissioners.
Squish in a little bit. And move about a foot to your left. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
We're coming down there.
Commissioners are coming down. We're gonna take yours now.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir. And we'll see you in about a
Couple weeks, yeah.
That's right.
Won't be long.
Thank you. Have a good day. See you in a couple weeks. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you. See you in a couple weeks.
See you in a couple of weeks. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support.
Yes, indeed. We'll see you soon. All right. Okay, our next proclamation is National Water Safety Month. Commissioner Cox.
Come forward and tell us who you are and tell us a little bit what's going on here.
Good morning. My name is Brandon Medea. I'm the Aquatics Division Chief with Calvert County Parks and Recreation. Good morning, and thank you to the Board of County Commissioners for recognizing Water Safety Month here in Calvert County. In a community like ours, surrounded by the Chesapeake Bay and so many waterways, water safety isn't just important, it's essential. Our Aquatics Division is proud to provide year-round programming that helps keep our community safe. Through our partnership with the American Red Cross, we offer swim lessons for all ages and abilities, along with lifeguard certification and CPR and first aid training, giving people the skills and confidence they need in and around the water. We're also continuing to expand our water safety field trip days with Calvert County Public Schools and other local groups, making sure more kids have access to hands-on water safety education early on in their life. In addition, we work closely with local scout groups as well as state and local agencies to provide training opportunities and swim testing to support a wide range of community needs. As we move through our Aquatic Center facility renovation, we're excited to take even more programming than usual to our outdoor pools, bringing water safety directly into the community and reaching even more people. At the end of the day, this work is about building confidence, increasing awareness, and helping prevent accidents before they happen. It's something we take very, very seriously, and we're proud to serve Calvert County in this way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Zachary Brickey. I'm the Aquatics Facility Manager here with Calvert County Parks and Rec. First and foremost, I want to speak on behalf of the Aquatics Division to extend our thanks to you for your recognition, approval, and participation in Water Safety Month. While you may not have been in the water teaching lessons with our youth, your help in bringing this matter to a public face is extremely appreciated. With our expanded programs outdoors to help negate the loss of the indoor pool, the next best thing we can hope for is to continue to reach our neighbors and bring the importance of water safety to light. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Lipperini, Aquatics Operations Specialist for Calvert County Parks and Recreation. Thank you guys for having me.
Good morning, Commissioners. Sharon Hudson, Calvert County Parks and Rec, Aquatics Division.
Good morning, Commissioners. First, I'd like to thank you for your continued support of Parks and Recreation. Thank you to the County Administrator's Office as well. I want to expand on a few things that Division Chief Medea said. So in 23 counties in the state of Maryland, Calvert ranks 23rd in population and 23rd in land area and 15th in population. That being said, this crew offers more than 700 Red Cross swim lessons a year. That's the most in the state. Every time we do our land preservation parks and recreation plan or we do a survey, it is of critical importance and need to the residents and guests of this county that we offer water safety, not just aquatics. When you think of traditional aquatic opportunities like our outdoor pools or our indoor pool at the natatorium, but we have many beaches, open water areas, kayak launches, piers. It is of critical need and importance that we continue to do this work. And I'm blessed to be able to work with these folks who have such a passion for it. 700 in a year, the most in the state of Maryland. I think that speaks volume to the work that these people are doing. Thank you again.
Good morning, Commissioners. Steve Wilcox, diver with the Calvert County Dive Rescue Team. First and foremost, thank you for your support.
follow up with all the good words. Good morning, Commissioners. Colton Poundsbury with the Calvert County Rescue Dive Team and the Fundraising and Outreach Coordinator. We really thank you for this opportunity as well to recognize Calvert County Parks and Rec and their National Initiative for Water Safety Month. Our team is also proud to serve Calvert County. We do serve 243 miles of shoreline that Calvert County has here. And Water Safety Month starts with everyone, whether it comes to keeping your children safe around water or in a life jacket, and encouraging everyone to be safe when they're in the water and take those courses, one of 700 swim lessons to be a proficient swimmer as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, I just want to say thank you for all coming in and explaining that to us. We're coming up on summertime. We have 2 pools that just opened in Calvert County, Kings Landing and Cove Point, and everybody else is getting ready to open their pools. And like you said, everybody is responsible, whether it's going to the pool, at your house, at Parks and Rec, everybody's responsible. So we thank you for coming in and doing what you do each and every day. So with that, I'll read the proclamation. Whereas the state of Maryland and Calvert County, Maryland, recognize that water is an essential resource that sustains life and provides recreational opportunities for our community. And whereas swimming and aquatic-related activities play a role in maintaining good physical and mental health while enhancing quality of life. And whereas every person has a responsibility to be knowledgeable about water safety and take precautions to prevent water-related accidents. And whereas drowning is preventable tragedy and affects thousands of individuals and families each year. And whereas National Water Safety Month recognizes ongoing efforts to educate the public on pool and spa safety initiatives led by the pool, spa, water, park, and recreation, and park industries. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Calvert County Board of County Commissioners that May 2026 be observed as National Water Safety Month. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners urges all citizens to be vigilant around water, prioritize safety measures, and support initiatives that foster a culture of awareness and responsibility in aquatic environments, signed by all 5 county commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You guys, what you do? You got a full team?
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
And our 4th and final proclamation is for Children's Mental Health Awareness Month. Commissioner Grasso.
Is Sarah here? Come on up, please. Introduce yourself. And anybody else who is with Sarah.
Hi, good morning. I'm Andrea McDonald-Finglin. I'm the director at the Calvert County Local Behavioral Health Authority at the Calvert County Health Department, and I want to thank you guys so much for this proclamation today. Children's Mental Health Awareness Week is the first full week of May and actually helps us to kick off Mental Health Awareness Month, which is the entire month of May. And so we're really grateful today for your time and attention to this matter. It's really important that we prioritize the mental health of our children and of the youth in our community. They're the future the future generations, and it's essential that we set them up for success in their futures, not just for their own sakes, but for ours as well. They're going to be a part of our community as they grow and develop and turn into adults, and it's essential that we set them up with critical thinking skills, with emotional regulation skills, and with resilience, so that they are able to face and overcome the obstacles that are going to come forth within their futures. And so, again, we really just want to emphasize the importance of paying attention to youth mental health, of taking care of our youth, and really prioritizing their mental health, not just this week, but every week and every year to come. And what that can mean is being with your children, spending time with them, engaging with their hobbies with them. It might mean seeking out services for them if they're struggling, if they've been through something and they need to process. Maybe they're depressed, maybe they're anxious. That mental illness for some people actually starts in youth, and it's not uncommon for kids to begin experiencing anxiety, depression as young as 7 years old. And so it's really essential that we're on top of paying attention to how our kids are doing, if they're exhibiting any symptoms, if they're struggling, and then getting them the assistance that they need. There are mental health resources, therapists, psychiatrists. We even have a crisis response system here for kids who are really struggling and who may need immediate in-home assistance. We have supportive services, psychiatric rehabilitation, in-home intensive care that can really assist family members with managing the mental health and the mental illness of youth who have higher levels of need. And we really want to prevent out-of-home placements as much as possible. We want to keep our youth here in our community with their families where they can best be served. And so really early intervention is essential, really working with these kids when their symptoms are small and not waiting until things snowball and get to an exploding and a crisis point. But worst case scenario, if you or your youth are in crisis, we have 988, which is our National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. The youth can call it and they can get assistance. Parents can call to get ideas and strategies about how to work with their kids who are struggling. We also have our local mobile crisis team who can meet you wherever you are. Your kid is melting down at the grocery store and you don't know what to do. You can't get them to stop. Mobile crisis will come out to you. They can come to your home, they can come out to the schools, and so it's just really essential that we are helping these kids, that we're giving them the resources that they need to be successful within their futures, because I'll emphasize it again, I'm going to say this every year that we come up here, that the children, they are our future, and it's our jobs as the adults to set them up for success so that they can continue on our legacies and they can create their own legacies as they grow and mature. So again, thank you so much for your attention to this matter. It's near and dear to my heart, and it's so important both for the youth and for our community. So thank you.
Before you leave the podium, what number can they call, number one, for the crisis hotline? Yes. What are some other sources with numbers, with emails that an individual could call if their child is in crisis?
Absolutely. The easiest number to remember is 988. So again, this is our National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. And we actually have it so that there's a transfer between, if you call 911, but it's not an emergency that requires law enforcement or EMS, 911 can transfer you to 988 as well. And they have trained licensed professionals who are answering the phone, who specialize in helping to de-escalate crises. We also have our local mobile crisis team, and that number I don't have memorized, but Denise is behind me, and so she will be able to give you that number.
Good, thank you.
So, and then when we're looking at just like resources and services, our health department has an outpatient mental health clinic with psychiatrists and therapists. There is Center for Children, which is an outpatient mental health clinic in our community. Cornerstone Southern Maryland provides a lot of supportive services. So in-home services, PRP. There is Pathways, who also provides those supportive services, as well as they have an outpatient mental health clinic with psychiatrists and therapists. There are a lot of resources. And worst case scenario, if you call the health department and you're not sure where to go, ask for the local behavioral health authority or the LBHA, and we can help you navigate that and get you in touch with who you may need to talk to. We can provide you with the options. We have resource brochures, we have pamphlets, we have all sorts of information about the different options that are available. And then Arian Odom is here as well, and she's going to talk to you about the local care team, I'm sure, which is a really fantastic resource here with county government.
Thank you. Come on up.
Absolutely.
Sarah Bailey, Child and Adolescent Coordinator at Calvert County Health Department, Local Behavioral Health Authority.
Kimberly Suarez, Residential Coordinator for LBHA.
I'm Tiffany McFarland. I'm the Mental Health Coordinator for Calvert County Public Schools, and I did just want to touch on there are also in-school services that we have through our consortium grant that the school counselors can get you connected with, the school social workers can connect them with, and the school psychologists can connect them with as well.
Arian Odom, Local Care Team Coordinator. So every county in our state has a local care team. And as Andrea said, all of those resources are like a web to connect to, which is why you asked specifically for one number. What the local care team does is we have a representative from all of the child serving agencies where the family can come talk and share what their issues are, that they're looking for resources one time to a team, and we put together an action plan and help them go through each of the resources that were recommended. The way that you can get a local care team referral is you can go to our county website, put in local care team, and the actual application referral is right there. It's an easy link. It's a 20-minute process to complete. And then it automatically comes to us. We have a meeting once a month, gather all those people together, and put that action plan together. So the local care team does exactly what Andrea said. Our goal is, all of us have the same goal, which is to wrap our children with all the resources that they need to be successful and to keep them in the community and in their homes versus out-of-home placements and the higher levels of need. So the local care team meets once a month on the third Wednesday of the month, and all you have to do is go on our county website and complete a referral. If you need assistance in doing a referral, you can call our office for community resources. Our school system also has staff that help families. If you're already working with an agency, you can request that agency representative assist you in doing it as well. And what we're doing this month in our celebration, we've been doing for a couple of years now, is Chalk the Walk. So you may have seen some of the signs, even coming here today. You may have passed the signs that we have at the courthouse, all along the sidewalks. It doesn't have to be sidewalks. It could be driveways. It could be in your neighborhood. We're asking that people use their chalk and their artistic ability to make positive affirmations, nice, cute little artwork that will draw people's attention to our children's mental health, because it matters. And Chalk the Walk will be here next year, so if you have a sign, hold on to it. We'll use it again next year. If you're out of chalk, call the office. We'll get you some chalk. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Kim Dade. I'm Calvert County Family Network Coordinator.
Jacqueline Calvert, Deputy Director of Community Resources.
Good morning. I'm Denise Dickerson, Director of Behavioral Health for the Calvert County Health Department. We're the largest provider of behavioral health services for the county, and specifically for children, we provide school-based therapy as well as medication management, and we also have Calvert Crisis Response, which is our walk-in crisis service, as well as our mobile crisis team that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That phone number is 877-467-5628.
Jennifer Moreland, Director of Community Resources. Many of us were able to serve on the School Wellness and Safety Advisory Committee this year, and we're very much a part of informing those initiatives. I'm glad that this continues to be a persistent topic that we talk about as a community. I'm also a mom of a child who had mental illness at age 10. Thank you.
Dr. Nymphatina Zamora, Health Officer, Calvert County Health Department. Thank you very much, Commissioners, for this recognition and this proclamation. I just wanted to close it by saying that your proactive support for children's mental health is a foundation of our community success. And thank you for recognizing the wonderful staff and the wonderful people who are behind the effort in making sure that the community is aware of the importance of focusing and helping children with their mental health. increasing awareness and reducing the stigma. So please, let's recognize local behavioral health authority, behavioral health services, community resources, and our other partners. Thank you so much.
Come on up. Thank you so much. Well, thank you all for being here. In my mind, all of you are the most important people in Calvert County. The service that you provide is invaluable. Mental health, and especially when we saw it with COVID and how our children got down. We had it in our own family with grandchildren who school was their identity, and all of a sudden it was taken away from them. That's where they would shine. That's where they would excel. They would be with their friends. And when they didn't have it, 2 of our 7 really, really struggled. And when faced with this, you need to know where to go, and you need to have that support, because as a parent, you're just floundering. You don't know what to do. And then you put social media on top of this. These children are up against a lot. And I remember my early teen years when you felt you weren't measuring up, and you were so hypercritical of yourself as a person. These kids are going through a lot, and you all are so, so valuable to our community, and I want to thank you personally for what you all do. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll read the proclamation. Whereas children's mental health is a crucial component of overall health and well-being, and positive mental health is essential to a child's healthy development from birth. And whereas Children's Mental Health Awareness Week is an annual opportunity to raise public awareness about the importance of supporting the mental health of children and adolescents. Whereas raising awareness about children's mental health helps reduce the stigma surrounding mental health challenges and seeking support. And whereas the Calvert County Local Behavioral Health Authority, in collaboration with the Calvert County Board of County Commissioners, encourages the community to join in recognizing this important week and to support efforts that foster understanding and promote access to mental health resources. And whereas Calvert County is home to numerous resources and support systems for children and families navigating mental health concerns, and public education about these resources is vital to the well-being of our youth and community. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Calvert County Board of County Commissioners that we recognize the week of May 3rd through the 9th, 2026 as Children's Mental Health Awareness Week in Calvert County. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners expresses gratitude to all mental health professionals, educators, families, and advocates working to support the emotional and psychological well-being of children and youth. Given under our hands and sealed this 5th day of May 2026, signed by all 5 county commissioners. Again, thank you all so much for what you do. You are the most important people in Calvert County. Thank you.
A step to your left, please. Okay. 1, 2, 3. One more. Here's your chance to blink. 3, 2, 1. One more for luck. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. Don't go, don't go, maybe. Don't go.
see you. Thank you, lady. There we go. Thank you very much.
I know I put two jackets on. I had this one, and then I put a black one. I just got from Waiting Black Market, but it's a short one. I was like, oh no, I cannot wear that. I was in the weekend line. I said, I know, I just don't think I like them. Oh, thank you. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, that takes us to our consent agenda. We have 5 items on the consent agenda this morning. The first one, Department of Finance and Budget Annual Health Insurance Renewal Plan, year July 1, 2026 to June 30, 2027. Number 2, Department of Finance and Budget Health Insurance Subsidy for Retirees Fiscal Year 2027. Item number 3, Department of Planning and Zoning Transferable Development Rights, Reserve Conveyance to Solomon's Condo Project, LLC. Item number 4, Department of Parks and Recreation, Local Parks and Playgrounds Infrastructure Application for Halloween Point Park Basketball Court Renovation. And item number 5, Department of Community Resources, Lease for Health Department's Chesapeake Beach location. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
Mr. President, I move that we approve and adopt the consent agenda items.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second to approve and adopt the consent agenda items. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Takes us to new business. Department of Human Resources, Fifth Amendment to Employees Retirement Savings Plan Loan Provisions. Melanie Woodson, Director of Human Resources. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Melanie Woodson, the Human Resources Director, and the subject of my new business today is the Fifth Amendment to the Employees Retirement Savings Plan Loan Provisions. Background. Under the current plan, participant loans may only be approved by the plan administrator if deemed necessary to meet an immediate and heavy financial hardship. The plan defines this as a hardship caused by one of 4 specific circumstances. 1, medical expenses for the participant, spouse, or dependents. 2, costs related to the purchase of a principal residence. 3, tuition, education fees, and room and board expenses for up to 12 months of post-secondary education for the participant, spouse, or dependents. 4, prevention of eviction or foreclosure from the participant's principal residence. This structure limits flexibility for participants who may face other financial hardships that are equally significant but not covered under the 4 enumerated categories. The Fifth Amendment proposes to remove these restrictions and allow loans for any personal financial reason consistent with IRS rules, while maintaining the plan's existing IRS loan limits, repayment terms, and safeguards. Discussion. Adopting this amendment would provide participants with greater autonomy to manage their financial needs. Instead of requiring participants to demonstrate one of the 4 hardship categories, they would be permitted to request a loan for a broader range of financial circumstances, provided the request remains compliant with the Internal Revenue Code requirements. This structure limits flexibility for participants who may face other financial needs that are equally significant but not covered under the 4 enumerated categories. All other provisions of the plan regarding minimum, maximum loan amounts, repayment schedules, security, and default will remain unchanged. Fiscal impact. There is no fiscal impact to the county. Loans are funded solely from the participant's vested account balance, with repayments credited back to the participant's account. The county bears no cost or liability related to loan issuance. Conclusion. It is recommended that the Board of County Commissioners approve the Fifth Amendment to the Employees Retirement Savings Plan, removing the 4 qualifying hardship reasons and allowing participants to request loans for any personal financial reason within IRS guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Grasso?
I don't have any questions, but I was really surprised to see these hardship, these 4 specific circumstances, because this is the people's money.
Correct.
I mean, what are we, Big Mama, Big Daddy?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Let the people do with their money as they want.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Insurance?
And just to highlight, they're just borrowing against their own savings, personal savings accounts, right?
Correct. This is the employee's T. Rowe Price 401A plan.
And are there any service charges they have to pay to get that money out or to put it back?
Interest. They are charged interest, but no service charges.
So they're charged interest because?
Because it's a loan that we do apply interest to the loan.
And then what happens to the interest?
It is applied back to their account.
So it goes, they're paying themselves interest at the end of the day?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's federal law, isn't it, though, Mel?
Correct.
Yeah.
IRS guidelines. We are
Yeah,
strictly
that's-
following
yeah,
IRS
the
guidelines.
interest, yeah,
Right
that's-
now, we are more restrictive than the IRS guidelines, and as Commissioner Grasso said, it's the participants' money, so we just want to comply with what the guidelines require and nothing more.
Mr. President, I make a motion the Board and County Commissioners review and if appropriate, approve the Fifth Amendment to the Employees Retirement Savings Plan, removing the 4 qualifying hardship reasons and allowing participants to request loans for any personal financial reasons within IRS guidelines.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second for the Board of County Commissioners review and if appropriate approve the Fifth Amendment to the Employees Retirement Savings Plan, removing the 4 qualifying hardship reasons and allowing participants to request loans for any personal financial reason with IRS guidelines. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Melanie.
The employees, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Takes us to item number 2 under new business, Office of the County Administrator, approval of Calvert Marine Museum 2026 to 2030 strategic plan. Jeff?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
Sorry, good morning, Commissioners. Hopefully you can hear me. Jeff Murray, Calvert Marine Museum Director. To my right is Calvert Marine Museum Deputy Director Rochelle Green. To my left is Board of Governors Chair Mr. Gary Ressing. Today, on behalf of the Calvert Marine Museum Board of Governors, we are bringing to you a draft strategic plan for the next 5 years, including 2026 through 2030. Hoping to get your approval for this plan. This plan has been approved by the Board of Governors. So background. Board of Governors of the Calvert Marine Museum have been working with staff, stakeholders, and a consultant to develop a new 5-year strategic plan for the Calvert Marine Museum. Previously, the museum's most recent strategic plan was developed in 2007, making the development of a new strategic plan a major priority for both museum leadership and the Board of Governors. We are pleased to present this draft plan, which covers the years 2026 through 2030. Discussion. A current strategic plan is necessary to maintain the museum's accreditation with the American Alliance of Museums, AAM, which is the highest professional organization in the museum world in North America, requires that the museum's parent organization, which in this case is Calvert County, approve the strategic plan to satisfy this requirement. Maintenance of the Calvert Marine Museum's AAM accreditation, which we have had for, I believe, over 30 years, enables the museum to pursue grant opportunities and private donations that might or would not otherwise be available. Fiscal impact, there is none at this time. The plan makes no specific requests for funding, and any funding requests would come through the county's regular budget processes for operating and capital budgets. It is also anticipated that a significant portion of the plan will be fulfilled with private and/or grant funding. And conclusion recommendations, staff recommend that the Board of County Commissioners review and, if approval is warranted, officially approve the Calvert Marine Museum 2026 through 2030 strategic plan. Commissioners, we are here at your pleasure. If you would like to, if you have reviewed the plan and would like to move forward with a vote, that's up to you. Or if you would like to hear some details, we are happy to share them with you.
I'm good.
Public might want to hear some details.
Public might want to hear some details, so we're happy to do that.
Jeff, attached on the screen. We
Okay.
have for the public to review the clicker right here.
Okay.
Yep. So do you want to go
See
through a
if I
couple of
can.
yours?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Let's see if I can do this correctly. All right. Get to our forward, which is this plan is more than a roadmap. It is a commitment to excellence to our community and to the generations who will come to learn, explore, and be inspired. An opening letter from me. This plan it's a broad plan. It has 4 key strategic goals, which we identified. The first one is to make the museum a destination. The second one is to maximize the museum's statewide and regional impact. Goal 3 is to improve site and building functionality. And goal 4 is to ensure future sustainability. There's an introduction, and then we get to the process of how we got here. I will add that, and I think the museum is the best public-private partnership I've ever been associated with. The CMM Society financially supported the hiring of a consultant, Lord Consulting, an international firm dedicated to museum planning and long-range and strategic planning, and this is the process that we actually followed. They helped us with a lot of getting together, comparisons to other institutions, workshops, feedback, surveys, community stakeholder engagement, and all of those. And in the end, it's our plan, and we did a lot of work on this as well. But they were really helpful in the process. So you can take a look at how that went. Through the process, we came up with a brand new mission statement. The Calvert Marine Museum inspires learning, discovery, and stewardship of the Chesapeake Bay and Southern Maryland's paleontology, estuarine life, I always love to say that, and maritime history. We have a new mission statement for the Society as well. The Society, of course, is our nonprofit that supports the museum. The Calvert Marine Museum Society supports the Calvert Marine Museum through donations, grants, membership, fundraising, retail, and events. And then for the first time ever that I know of, we have developed a vision statement. And of course, the vision statement is what you want to be when you grow up. And if you ever achieve that vision, it's probably time to change your vision statement. But the Calvert Marine Museum envisions a vibrant future with engaging exhibits, comprehensive research, and innovative education. We aspire to be a leading destination for exploring the prehistoric past, thriving estuarine ecosystems, and enduring maritime traditions of the Chesapeake Bay region. So that is our vision. And then we go to the goals and objectives, and there is an entire workbook that goes with this strategic plan that has all of the tasks that are the actual tasks that will help us achieve these goals. But under Goal 1, we have Make the Museum a Destination, and the objectives are to build an inclusive, dynamic visitor experience. And let me see if I got just a couple details under the workbook that I can share with you. One of those details is to create a comprehensive exhibits plan and a new dynamic introductory orientation video. Under enhanced visitor amenities, objective B, we really want to get a new website and new restrooms, which we think we could really use. And then under C, develop the Paleontology Center. We want to actually design and build the Paleontology Center. Of course, if you remember, the state legislature declared us Maryland State Paleontology Center back in 2018, and we'd like to move on that and build on that. And then we'd like to also increase CMM's visibility, and in doing so, we'd like to increase the marketing budget and expand our work with tourism and expand our outreach. Goal 2, maximize the museum's statewide and regional impact. The objectives under there, we have metrics for each of these objectives as well, so that we'll know when we've achieved them. Create new partnership strategies. We want to do that with private schools, museums, higher ed, Calvert County Parks and Rec, who's been a wonderful partner, and then other community organizations. Under Objective B, to enhance outreach and accessibility, we want at least 10 off-site events that we are a part of and to enhance our outreach and our visibility. And then Objective C is to pursue new academic initiatives. We'd like a new middle school initiative because we tend to lose the kids when they're little. They come as families. We lose them in the middle and high school periods. We have a wonderful junior docent program for rising 8th and 9th graders, which feeds right into our volunteer program, which is just amazing, over 500 volunteers. But our junior docent program, which is run by the education department and our volunteer coordinator, is just fantastic for doing that. But we do lose the kids, and we realize that, and we need to have programs that are targeted to both middle and high schoolers, and we have a fantastic director of education, Mary Ellen Carsley, who is working to do just that. And then we also want to do outreach to our concert attendees, because oftentimes they will come to the museum and they never set foot in the museum. They love the concerts. They may be there for the artist, but let's reach out to them. Let's find ways to get them to either come back into the museum or stay around in Solomon's, Heads and Beds. We're a big. I know this is Business Appreciation Week, and you folks are going to do some celebratory things later today for that. We are a big engine in the Solomons and Lusby area in terms of economic development and growth.
Jeff, how's head count been?
I'm sorry?
How's head count been?
Head count in terms of
In the
attendance?
museum. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny because it's trending back up ever so slightly. I would say just this past month it decreased a little bit. I don't know whether the economy is getting in the way, but overall it's been trending upward for the last year or two. But it certainly took a hit in the pandemic and afterward. It did. So I mean, we lost about 15 to 20% of our attendance. And it was difficult through 2021, 22, 23 to build that back. So, but we've done that for the most part. So, finally, Objective D is to cultivate a sustainable volunteer pipeline. Metric there is to increase our volunteer hours by 10 to 15% over 3 years. And of course, all of you have been to our volunteer appreciation night, and you've seen the number of hours and the folks who are giving of time and talent, and it's a wonderful thing to see. So that's that. With that, I'll turn it over to Rochelle, and she can have goal 3.
Okay. You can click.
Yeah, I'll click.
Great. Goal 3 focuses on improving site and building functionality. Our objectives there are to assess the physical conditions of our existing facilities and infrastructure, complete a functional needs assessment of existing spaces and facilities to define future needs, create a new campus master plan, and create an operational plan to support those facilities and the development of a new campus master plan. Some of those details include interim storage solutions for our collections and plan for staffing and operational requirements to facilitate increased visitation. For Goal 4, we are working towards ensuring future sustainability. Those objectives include cultivating and expanding revenue sources through operations and fundraising initiatives, strengthening engagement with individual, corporate, and foundation donors, and exploring additional opportunities for regional and public sector partnerships to ensure sustained institutional growth and community. Here we'd like to identify short and long-term funding goals, increase our state and federal funding opportunities, and create new grant research and sources through our society nonprofit organization.
All right, thank you, Rochelle. Gary, do you have anything to say before
I just want to
wrap up?
I think we've developed a very strong strategic plan under the leadership of Director Murray and Deputy Director Green. Great work between the whole community that makes up the museum, from our professional staff, our volunteers, our board of governors, and our visitors and our key stakeholders, which includes all of you. This is going to guide us for the next 5 years. And then we'll take another look and see where we need to go from there. But I think it's a good plan,
Sir,
strong plan.
Can you speak into your mic? We cannot hear you on.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yep, pull it right up to your, yep. Right up to you. There we go.
Just as I finish, you'll be able to hear me. Sorry about that. But a really good plan that's been developed with the help of our consultant, and everybody's been engaged. So I think it's a strong plan that we've got buy-in from our stakeholders in the community, and I think it's really going to help us into the future. And we've got a very bright, strong future, in my opinion. So I appreciate everybody's help and the work that's gone into this.
And I'll just wrap up by thanking you for your support. You make this possible. We're a public-private partnership, but we can't do it without you, and we really appreciate all that the commissioners do. You support so many different events that are free to the public, and without your support, we're not there. So we thank you, and with that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Commissioner Hart?
No, just want to say thank you, guys.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
So, Jeff, I just want to say thank you to you and your whole staff for what you do for that museum. As a gym down there. And I also was glad to hear that you bring the youth. You're not only bringing more youth in, but keeping them entertained and throughout the process. So that was a good hit there. So thank you for what you all do, and congratulations.
Oh, yeah, I want to add my thank you for your service and what you do. You know, it is a destination. I don't know what the economic impact is to the region, but people come there, spend night, eat dinners, spend money in other places. So and whenever I talk to visitors, I always tell them, make sure you go to the Calvert Museum, because it is truly, truly one of the best gems in Calvert County. And, you know, all the work that you do with the school kids is great to get them educated and get them engaged. So I'm glad to hear that you're going to expand that, trying to get the older kids, keep them engaged as they grow up. So, and the volunteer system that you have there is just truly, truly amazing. I think this year you had one gentleman, he's reached 30-some thousand hours of volunteer work at the Marine Museum.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, some of our volunteers are well over 10,000 hours. It's just, and they're almost full-time staff members, and they function as such, and we love them, and they contribute so much. So
it's just a great thing for Calvert County. Thank you so much for what you do.
Mr. Green?
I want to echo what my fellow commissioners have said. The Marine Museum is a gem. It is just invaluable to the county. And I also want to comment on your strategic plan. It's very well done. Your mission statement, your vision statement is concise. Your strategic goals are spot on, but there are also goals that can be measured and determine, when you measure them, it creates a positive outcome for you all. So they're measurable. I see positive outcomes in them. I think it's one of the best strategic plans I've seen since I've been a commissioner. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
So I can remember going to the old museum as a child, where your administrative officers are now, obviously, and doing field trips there, going there with my parents. The new museum, if somebody says, what's there to do in Solomons, that's the top of my list. I said, you got to go to the museum. I mean, everything's in there for young and old to be able to see. And the history of Calvert County and the waterman history of Calvert County is very well portrayed there as well. So you guys do a great job. It's a fun place to go, and thank you for doing what you do.
thank you to all the commissioners. Appreciate that.
Do a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion that the BOCC officially approve the Calvert Marine Museum 2026-2030 strategic plan.
Second.
So a motion and a second to approve the Calvert Marine Museum 2026 to 2030 strategic plan. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much, Commissioners.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
So we're going to have to skip over our public hearing because it's not 10:30 yet, and we'll move on to the presentation, which was actually scheduled after that. Department of Community Resources, Calvert Library, Annual Report and Strategic Plan. Are we able to do that? Do we have everybody here?
Yes.
Good morning, Gary. Jen?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Jen, you're the star of the day, aren't you, Jen?
I'm just a supporting actor. Good morning, Commissioners.
How are you?
Good morning. Carrie Wilson, Executive Director of Calvert Library. I'm going to skip over the official memo and get right to the good stuff.
Okay.
And if he's not here now, our Board Vice President, Ron Krupe, is probably joining us this morning. He's on his way. So thank you for the opportunity to share some highlights of our FY25 annual report and our relatively new strategic plan, which will take us from 2026 through FY31. And as you will see from the slides, they're a little, what's the genre that I call them?
Steampunk.
Steampunk. I don't know if you've read any steampunk books. They're sort of like futuristic, but old school. There's a lot of like technology in it, like inflatable balloons and devices. It looks very steampunk. So if you want to read steampunk, you'll know what it's got, kind of the vibe there. We use Notebook LM, which is an AI generative tool through Google. So you upload your documents and it gives you back presentations to share. So, all right. So here are FY25 highlights. More than a third of our county are active users of the library. In the physical library, they're checking books out. They're coming into our buildings and using our meeting rooms, both for programs and for those 11,400 meeting room uses are groups who have reserved our meeting rooms for their own purposes. Those aren't library program uses. So in our digital library, there are almost 300,000 digital checkouts, 127,000 research sessions on our databases that we get through the Southern Maryland Regional Library and the State Library Resource Center, and then over 12,000 Wi-Fi sessions of folks who are coming to the library and using their own devices. In what Notebook LM called the interpersonal library, There are almost 58,000 event attendees. So that's events from everybody from babies up through seniors in the county. We've hosted over 2,700 classes and events and have 145 volunteers with almost 6,000 hours of donated time. I hate to go after the Marine Museum because their model is very different than ours, but we also have phenomenal volunteers who are giving a lot of time to us. They are both presenting public programs when they have expertise. They're also helping us with things like our pick list and processing delivery on a daily basis. So couldn't do it without them. And we've circulated between our physical and digital over 1 million items. Those are our statistical highlights. So Notebook LM was really generous. It called FY25 unprecedented usage, and I think that's fair given as Jeff was talking about, the recovery since the pandemic has been pretty significant. So obviously our door count during the pandemic was very low, and we're seeing people back through the doors. The program attendance is back to where it was, and the community engagement is back to pre-pandemic levels. So we are really focused on the return on investment for the dollars that you invest, what the impact is for our community. And given that 35,000 active users who all have access to books, materials, classes, events, all free to them through their tax dollars via you, it's a pretty significant return. Our emphasis on vibrant spaces, lifelong learning, and community connection. And to get us there, we're focused right now on operational resilience. I've seen a lot of this from the county staff that we liaison, getting standard operating procedures written down, capturing that institutional knowledge that folks have, because we're seeing retirements of people who know a lot about the library and who've hit retirement age. So we're doing a lot of documenting, capturing that institutional knowledge, and that is also leading us to address understaffing in our administrative department. So our strategic roadmap, our mission is to connect people, spark discovery, and enrich lives. We worked with a consulting group in 2025 to develop this roadmap with funding from the State Library Grant. We gathered community input via stakeholder interviews, focus groups, and a public survey. And the message we heard was very affirming, and it was basically be the library. I think I've heard that from some of you as well. So there are 3 areas of focus: to reimagine access, and that entails eliminating barriers and upgrading our spaces; to cultivate curious minds, which of course is what we do on a daily basis with early learning, technology, teaching, and lifelong education; and fostering connection, shared spaces, mutual respect, and that ability for people to get together and meet one another and do things they like to do together. So our core values are community, that lifelong learning, collaboration, and intellectual freedom, protecting the ability of all of our residents to read what they want, be what they want, and have communication across differences. So in reimagining access, obviously we're celebrating just celebrated the second birthday of Twin Beaches branch, and that's a real reimagining of what a public library is, right? Our visits, checkouts, and event attendance has exceeded our expectations. So we'd like that. We're in the process of doing a facility master plan right now, again with a state grant, and that's going to help us envision what our building plan should be for the next 20 years. So we know we need a new library in the southern part of the county. Fairview branch will be after that. So the things that I know, but that facility master plan will give us kind of a concrete guideline of what we should do and how large those facilities should be. Our focus on accessibility also includes the web content accessibility guidelines, which I don't know if you've heard about that, but the new ADA guidelines that we've got one more year to implement, but that's been a really heavy lift for getting our website up to code so that every page is accessible to folks with screen readers. We're using community reinvestment and repair funds. Aren't you proud of me for not calling it a weed grant? Sorry, I have to call it weed money. We are doing sensory spots in all of our locations. So I think you've all seen the Sensory Street, which is kind of activities for children who are on the spectrum at Prince Frederick. We're going to install that at all of our locations so the kids will have a place to go to either get extra stimulation or to find a place to be calm and quiet when they visit.
Carrie, can I interrupt you
Yeah,
for a
please.
minute? Ron just arrived, if you'd
Okay.
like for him to come up.
Yeah. Hey, Ron. Ron Krupe is the Vice President of our Board of Library Trustees. Thanks for joining us today.
Morning.
Morning. We
Um,
put them early. You aren't late, sir.
No, you're not late
I
at
tried
all.
to get here on time.
We are expanding our partnership with the Library for the Blind and Print Disabled, which is located in Baltimore and serves the entire state. That's one of the state library's branches. So they're working with Mobile Services, and Mobile Services is then, with partnership from them, working with Therapeutic Rec on how to make Calvert Reads, which is our summer reading program, work for everyone. They are also helping us to make our STEAM Lab programs, which are for young children, work and be accessible for children with low vision and who are blind. We've got some kids attending programs with low vision, so that's been exciting. And we're thinking about Longevity Ready Maryland, right? Our population is aging, and so we're thinking about that with regards to our programs, but also our facilities. We realized we have chairs that have the legs go out on them, and that's a tripping hazard. So when we purchase furniture next, we'll get furniture with their legs tucked in. So we're learning a lot as we make our way through. And then in Cultivating Curious Minds, go to the next slide. We are engaging young families. We have a November relaunch of 500 by 5, and would do things like kindergarten gear up that helps families get their little ones ready for kindergarten. They learn how to sit in chairs and get to be on a school bus for have that experience. We do a ton of adult programming, and summer reading this year is Unearth a Story, so it's going to be lots of dinosaurs. So we have some partnership with the Marine Museum and with the Mac Lab at Jefferson Patterson, so we're excited about that. And of course, Cultivating Curious Minds also means keeping our collections up to date, well maintained, and appealing to our users. In fostering connection, I think that Commissioner Hance is right there in the lower right of this picture from the longest table. That's the back of his head. But we host events like the longest table to bring the community together over a shared meal and a shared topic of conversation. We have lots of affinity groups, Pins and Needles, Alzheimer's support. We work with the health department on Prevent T2 diabetes program. We have a teen advisory council of students for our teens to have an influence on what the library programming is. And we collaborate with a host of partners. For adaptive storytime, we work with the Infants and Toddlers program. We're working with the Department of Labor on a Preventing Scams program. We work with the Commission for Women and C4 and the Calvert County Minority Business Alliance, do Lawyer in the Library. There's something every week if you look at our programs, which you all know. And then, so what our customers see is our collections, our events, our classes, our incredible frontline staff who create a welcoming environment for everyone who walks in the door. And that's our checkouts and our event high attendees and our very high customer satisfaction. I think last I looked at our Net Promoter Score, it was over 95, which is kind of unprecedented for a public service business. But behind the scenes, you know, we're like the little duck with the frantically paddling feet below the surface. So we are managing budgets and payroll, procurement, all of the things that it takes to make an organization work, coordinating public service and program planning, and people management. We have, counting our student pages, 95 employees these days. So it's a good crew, and we have great folks doing all that work. So in 2013, our square footage was just over 41,000, and we now have over 63,000 square footage. So our mobile services, obviously we now have 2 vehicles. Number of programs has grown by 35%, and our full-time equivalency of staff has grown 29% with opening Southern in the current interim place and Twin Beaches. So our focus has always been on public service and on how to make the experience better for our customers coming in the door. So we have put all of our eggs in that basket and realize now that we are really struggling to support them administratively. So that's our goal for the next little while, is to have the folks in place to make sure that we're doing HR well and we have the right financial controls to to manage the budget on our side. We get a ton of support from finance and budget on the county and from buildings and grounds, but we do need folks on our side as well who are doing that work with them. And as always, our goal is to support the commissioner's agenda and goals for the county. So those are super well thought out and support what all of our community wants: economic vitality, education and quality of life, fiscal responsibility, and service continuity. So that's where we're at and where we're going in the future. And thank you for your partnership and for your support, both from Calvert County government, from all the departments that work with us, and you all as the commissioners. It's greatly appreciated. Any questions for us?
Carrie, can you remind me, your funding, it says here it's 7.7. What's the ratio of state to county?
Yeah, that's a little bit of what we call an AI hallucination. Our budget's not that high. It's more like 7 million, but the percentage, we get about 900,000 from the state, and the rest is county funding. And some of that state funding is the pension piece. Yep.
And what's the plan for the Southern Library?
The plan is, in the county's capital improvement plan, there is planning money in FY28. I think I'm not making that up. It's 28 or 29. I meant to look at it last night. I think it's 28. So we'll apply for a state library capital grant for FY28. So we'll do a year of the architecture and engineering planning, and then we'll start construction FY29 and 30, so that we are in a new facility before the lease ends on the current location there in Solomons. And I think we're looking at siting that in Lusby, much closer to where the population center is in the Ranch Club.
And when we built the new library at the beach, what was the ratio of state to county funding for that project?
It was just about like 55% county funding, 45% state. We have to do a 50-50 match for that state capital library grant. We got pretty close to that. We got over $5.5 million, I think, from the state, which was fantastic, because that annual fund is $7.5 million from the state. So
And that was 11.
It is in 29 for planning. Thank you, Jennifer.
That project was 11 million.
It was 12.5, I believe, was the total cost. Yeah.
Good.
And we'd like to not build any more multi-story libraries. It works for the site that it's on there at Twin Beaches, but it's much easier to staff a one-story building. So hoping for a piece of land that accommodates that for the new southern branch.
Because what's the square footage projection for that new facility?
15 to 18, possibly. That's part of what we're kind of waiting on the architects who are helping us with the facilities master plan. We've done a lot of like bubble maps of children's is here and teens is there and adult is here, and so they'll come back to us with a square footage estimate of how to make that work.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Grasso.
How is your administrative department holding up? Are you understaffed? Are you on target?
We are very understaffed.
Okay, by how many people?
4 at this
4?
point.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And two of those I think we can get away with being part-time. We need 2 full-time and 2 part-time right now is my estimate. We're a small library system. So as we've gotten more responsibility and done more things, people just put more hats on.
Mm-hmm.
And now those folks with the multi-hats are retiring. And we can't hire someone to do the things that someone did who was retiring. Nobody takes those jobs, right? Like, can you be in charge of PR and IT? No, nobody could do that. So as folks retire, we're having to replace them with more reasonable positions and not take advantage of our folks who are so good. So that's part of what's led to it, and part of it is just, I don't know, the speed of the world seems to have accelerated, and we need to start not saying yes to everything. But
okay.
Yeah.
Teen Advisory Council, when did you implement that?
Oh gosh, I think that there's been we call them tacos for short. I think the tacos have been around for quite some time at Prince Frederick. The Southern group came together a couple years ago.
I recognize that.
Yeah, tacos,
I recognize tacos when
Yeah.
I was on the board.
Right.
How are they doing?
They're great. So there's actually a group that started at Twin as well. So
Okay.
Twin, the tacos, they're organizing like 2 band nights a year. So they have over 100 kids come to band night. They're super well attended. And then the group at Southern has been really solid, and they plan programs and get together. So it's great.
Well, the Beaches has definitely taken off as a community hub.
Yeah.
For people who say libraries are passe, no, they're not.
Yeah.
They serve a fabulous purpose. I finally was able to go into one of our bookmobiles, and I think when I was on the board, we did the first purchase of one, and it brought back memories of the 8 Emory kids traipsing down the road, me more than likely with a toddler on my hip,
Right.
as we all went down to get our library books. Just fabulous. Thank you all for all you do. And Carrie, I had a talk with you before. Most definitely next year, if I'm back, you all are on my radar screen. I know what you need, and we can't do everything, but we're going to get you something.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Cox?
Yes. So the 4 people you need is at what location?
So we need another supervisor for Twin Beaches,
Okay.
and then the others are all for the administrative offices in Prince Frederick.
Okay.
So-
I didn't know whether with the new opening of the beaches
Yeah.
and the shift of people going that way, if you needed it all that way or going back
I
to
mean,
Prince
it
Frederick.
wouldn't hurt. I think Melissa would tell you that she could use more than just another supervisor. We use a lot of substitutes there, and part-timers take on some extra hours. We have to add a whole nother person in the summer for Saturdays because it's just so incredibly busy.
Okay. Well, thank you for all
but
you
yeah.
do and
Yeah.
doing a great job. Thank you.
Mr. Hart?
Carrie, how many square feet is the Solomon's one now?
It's about 9,500 square feet.
And Beaches is?
18,000.
Okay. So that number, because I was just trying to put it in my head, because if you could put it in that location, it's going to be it's going to be well used, and
Yeah,
don't want to
exactly.
be all of a sudden maxed out.
Right.
Right. So okay, and the architect's thinking, you said 16 to 18.
That's what I expect them to say, but we'll have that final report in June, I think.
When
And
will
we'll
they
come
have
back and-
some of the first printouts of what they're thinking? Sketches and stuff. When do you think we'll see that?
Well, this is just sort of telling us what kinds of spaces we should have and how much space they'll take up. This isn't it's not supposed to be designed for that building. We'll really want the community to be engaged in the design process, which we'll do in FY29.
So
But we'll share all that. We'll share the facility master plan when it's finished with you, and we can come back and show you what they come back with in the summer.
I think the last one was done, and when we had a facility master plan, it was 2016, right? Yeah. So you may recall that when you see the presentation.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
But we expect the same thing to happen as happened at Twin, right? People who don't currently use the library, when there's a larger space that has more room for them to be in and they see themselves there, usage, we expect it to
Well, especially if it's an
skyrocket.
easier location.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, and if it's easy for kids to get to.
And we'll be
Yeah.
out of lease space as a, that's another thing. The whole system will be out of lease space too. So I know that's a goal for the commissioners.
It's a goal we all share.
Yes.
So every time I ride by the library and you see that bike rack out front, most of it's kids' bikes,
Yeah.
which is very cool to see. You don't see that anywhere else in the county that I can think of. You
Yeah.
just don't.
It's really nice.
As far as the band night goes, Jen and I had a meeting with another, well, actually it was with the Elks. And
Yeah.
they heard about your band night, and I think they're going to try to jump on board and do band nights there as well
Great.
to keep our youth involved, which
That's
is
excellent.
Yeah,
which
let the
is great.
tacos know. Maybe they can help.
Yeah.
The Prince Frederick group.
Yeah,
The
no,
Prince Frederick
absolutely.
team
If you
group.
guys have that group together, that'd be a resource for them to be able to reach out to.
Yeah.
It's already there.
Absolutely.
Well, Commissioner Hardy, you
Cool.
gonna come out of retirement and go to band night, or?
I'll come.
Former Commissioner Nutter is still playing with the group that gets together to play instruments at Southern Branch. So.
But
Yeah.
all the, I know the Twin Beaches branch has a lot of technology for citizens to have access to.
It
Do
does.
all the other locations have the same technology, or do you
There are
limit it on
3D
room at the
printers
others?
everywhere, but there isn't like a full maker space everywhere. And so our idea is that there should be something that is of interest, whether it's a tool lending library or the maker space or there are a lot of different ideas of what we could put at different locations just to provide access to more opportunity for our residents.
It's just more housing.
So, yeah. But there are 3D printers here and there. I don't want Attorney Lucas to yell at you if you have to get to public hearing. No.
No, we're fine. It doesn't
Okay,
have to
good.
be right at 10:30.
All right, cool.
Do you have a motion, Commissioner Cox?
No motion needed.
No motion
No.
needed, I'm sorry, it's just a presentation. No,
Thank
well,
you.
thank you, guys. We
Thank you very
appreciate it.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing your new plans.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you. It takes us back to our public hearing, Department of Economic Development, budget amendment for capital improvement program project, Armory Site Development, Rural Maryland Economic Development Grant Award Adjustment. Soberg.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. Julie Oberg, Director of Economic Development. There's one public hearing scheduled for today. The hearing was duly advertised, and the certificate of publication is made part of the record of the hearing. Citizens were invited to provide comment on the hearing after the presentation has concluded. Anyone here in person must sign in on the sheet next to the attorney to speak. So I'll go ahead and read the memo. The subject is budget amendment for capital improvement project, capital improvement program project, Armory Site Development, Rural Maryland Economic Development Grant Award Adjustment. Background. The Armory Site Development Project in the Capital Improvement Plan is CIP 12, aims to construct an open-air pavilion to enhance the Prince Frederick Town Center area by creating a vibrant, multi-use space that supports economic growth and community engagement. The project received funding through the Rural Maryland Economic Development Fund, overseen by the Maryland Department of Commerce and administered by the 5 rural regional councils. A revised grant agreement provides a no-cost extension through June 30th, 2026, and 2 additional grant awards totaling $176,541 for the project. Discussion. The Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland notified the Department of Economic Development that its Rural Maryland Economic Development Grant Award has been modified to include new funds from a state reallocation. The open-air multi-use pavilion permitting and construction project at the Armory Building site in Prince Frederick Town Center project has been allocated an additional $176,541 in state grant funds to support the project. Fiscal impact. The Armory Site Development Project is assigned CIP 12, Budget Amendment 2026-815 has been created to allocate the additional $176,541 in grant funding. Conclusion recommendation. The Department of Economic Development requests the Board of County Commissioners conduct a public hearing and, if deemed appropriate based on the record above, adopt and enact the resolution and budget amendment BA 2026-815 to allocate the additional $176,541 in grant funding from the Rural Maryland Economic Development Grant. So I think that we're at the point now where we can take public comment. The floor has been open for public comment on the hearing. Resolution 6-89 was adopted and is available here today to maintain the order and decorum of the government process. Those attending in person will be invited to speak first. For those joining virtually, if you wish to speak, please press star 9 or use the raise your hand function. Virtual participants will be identified by their screen name or the last 4 digits of their phone number and unmuted one at a time. Speakers will be asked to state their name and address. Speakers who are providing comment as individuals will be allocated 2 minutes. Speakers who are the designated representative of a group will be allocated 5 minutes. There is no one signed up in person. Are there any people online?
There is one person online. If anyone wishes to speak, please use the raise hand function on Teams or press star 5 on your telephone. There are no speakers at this time.
Okay. Are there any
Discussion? Questions? Comments?
No, I have none. Good, this is good windfall for us, most definitely. Very
Yes, ma'am.
positive.
So this is because another county couldn't spend their money, and because the deadline's approaching, they had to take the money back and reallocate, so.
That's correct. And they like our project. We're making good progress on it. We're in the site development phase, and we expect to go to construction of the actual pavilion July 1. Okay, so if there's no more comments or questions, staff requests the board leave the record open for 10 days pursuant to Local Government Article 9-105, and then staff can return after the record closes for a decision.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second to leave the record open for 10 days pursuant to Local Government Article 9-105. And we'll return for a record closure at a later date. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Takes us to public comment. Madam Attorney?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner President. To maintain decorum, the Board of County Commissioners adheres to established procedural rules first adopted in 1989 that are applied in a viewpoint neutral way only to genuinely disruptive or threatening behavior. As an invited speaker addressing topics pertaining to county government, please observe the following guidelines. All remarks and conduct must be respectful and refrain from personal attacks, inflammatory language, or disruptive behavior. Prior to commencing your remarks, please state your full name for the record. Individual speakers are allocated 2 minutes. Designated representatives speaking on behalf of an organization or group are allotted 5 minutes. Individuals seeking to influence governmental decisions are categorized as lobbyists and are required to register with the Ethics Commission prior to their engagement with the board.
You can make your way up to the mic.
Do I have to sign in? I'm sorry, I just have a question before you start my clock.
Not at this time.
Do I have to sign in somewhere?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you so much. Excuse me, before you start my clock, I'm speaking on behalf of the Marley Run HOA Section 1-5 Board. I have a little laryngitis because, you know, I've been on the phone a lot this week. Okay, wait, you started. So let's reset that because I'm not ready. Thank you. Thank you. It comes down to seconds, you know that. Okay.
You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Please state your name. for the
Sherry
record.
Verdon. They changed the zoning. The comprehensive plan still says preserve. Commissioners, I'm here to speak about alignment, specifically the alignment between your zoning ordinance and the comprehensive plan. You are required under Maryland law to implement. The issue is straightforward. Calvert County's comprehensive plan, amended February 2025, still states our landscape is dominated by forests and fields. It still requires 90% forest retention. It still requires 100% replacement of forest loss. It still identifies the Calvert Cliff Flags Ponds corridor as a targeted ecological area, and it still defines farm and forest land as protected. Those provisions are still in effect today. At the same time, the county updated zoning to expand I-2 heavy industrial to allow data centers, including the parcel at Calvert Cliffs Parkway. The same site described as largely forested with a proposed 988-acre, 500-megawatt data center campus. Under Maryland law, zoning is required to implement the comprehensive plan, not override it. If there is a conflict, the county must either bring zoning into alignment with the plan or amend the plan through a public process. As of today, the plan has not been amended through the public process. The plan still says preserve, and the zoning now allows industrial. So, additionally, the county has already acknowledged that its forest conservation regulations must be brought into compliance with state law by July 1st, 2026. So there's already a defined timeline for the alignment. I also want to acknowledge the county staff. They are working within the direction that they are given. This is not about them. This is about policy decisions and alignment at the leadership level. I also want to speak to priorities. For over 4 years, I have asked for clarity on major infrastructure funding and for 2 armed school resource officers in every school. That request was not approved until this year. So I have to ask, how are priorities being evaluated? Because from a resident's perspective, there's a disconnect between the urgency applied to large-scale projects and the urgency applied to basic public safety, public health, and environmental health, especially when it comes to our children. I'll also say this on a personal level. My family's roots in this country go back before the founding of it, okay? And that shapes how I look at decisions like this. Because this is not just about what we allow today, it is about what we preserve and what we hand down. So my question to the board is this: if the comprehensive plan still governs this land and still requires preservation, how does the county justify zoning that enables something fundamentally different? And what steps will be taken to bring those into alignment? Across federal, state, and county policy, preservation is a consistent priority. But most importantly here, it is set by this county's own comprehensive plan. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Patrick Flaherty, Commissioner candidate for District 1. That silence you just experienced, that uncomfortable, awkward silence, that's exactly how thousands of residents in Lusby and all of Calvert have felt for the past 2 years on the data center issue. Ignored, in the dark, wondering why important decisions that will affect our homes, our roads, our water, our power, and our way of life are being made behind closed doors with DNAs and private agreements instead of in public view. We've watched shifting explanations, changing timelines, and zoning changes that conveniently added data center language while claiming it was just about warehouses. Enough. We deserve better. That's why I've been calling for a full reset. Remove all data center language from the 2025 zoning ordinance right now. Clearly define what a warehouse is and what it is not. Start the process over with full public hearings and truly independent studies on water usage, energy demands, traffic, noise, wetlands, and cumulative impacts. No more half measures, no more backroom deals, no more treating Southern Calvert like it's the county's industrial sacrifice zone. We can have responsible growth, but not at the expense of our character and the Chesapeake Bay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Don't start the timer until I'm ready. My name is Allison Sigler, and I live in Port Republic. I'm ready. I stand here in total disbelief that the subject of data centers is even a possibility in Calvert County. We're the smallest county in the state of Maryland. Calvert County has the only nuclear power plant in the state that is just miles away from the Cove Point LNG terminal that is a major liquefied natural gas import, export, and storage facility, putting not one, but 11 data centers in close proximity to these two large, dangerous industries is a perfect target for terrorism. Why would you as commissioners add to the danger zone and put the people of our county at risk? We continue to hear the serious concerns data centers raise: massive energy use, constant harmful noise, significant water use, diesel generators that emit harmful pollutants and raise the temperature of surrounding areas, the Amazon data centers' destruction of critical areas of wildlife and water, the proximity of schools and homes. Another concern I have is the secrecy over the past 2 years to pave the way for these centers. The discovery of an Amazon job posting for a data center construction manager was the giveaway. The non-disclosure agreement kept project details from the public. Changing the zoning of the Constellation property from critical area and forest to heavy industrial to roll out the red carpet for the data centers. In case you didn't know, the change in zoning was mentioned as part of our tax bill, not a separate mailing. If data centers are such a safe, great idea and will be so good for our county, why has this been done in secrecy? If data centers are such a safe, great idea, why are so many communities, counties, and even states fighting against them. The people of Calvert County have the right to be involved in a decision of this scale. I am opposed to any data centers in Calvert County. You are ignoring our voices to stop this development, and we have given you factual reasons to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Leonard Zouza, live in Solomons, and am speaking on behalf of the concerned citizens of Calvert. Commissioners, thank you for this opportunity to address you. Several facts have recently emerged that strongly argue for you to enact the data center moratoria proposed by Commissioners Hart and Grasso. Number one, on April 3, the Baltimore Banner reported that Amazon's proposed data center near the nuclear plant would use 500 megawatts of power. That would be enough to power 400,000 homes, 11 times the size of Calvert County. Number two, during SMECO's April 28 BOCC testimony, it reported that PJM projects that the cost of electricity could increase from $49 per megawatt day in 2024 to $329 by May 2027, a potential seven-fold increase in electrical costs. Number three, SMECO also testified that the proposed Natelli facility combined with Amazon would require 1.1 gigawatts of power, the maximum for all of Maryland on its coldest day. Number four, although the Quantum Frederick facilities have yet to begin operations, the projected 1 gigawatt of power requirement that they have will create a significant additional demand on the PJM grid. These projected PJM cost increases, combined with the fact that the U.S.-Iran war is driving up prices on gasoline and other commodities, mean that you need to focus on all the problems that data centers could create for us, including the not-so-obvious financial ones. Those of you who favor data centers cite the financial benefits from the Calvert Cliffs nuclear power plant and the Cove Point LNG export facility. You're right in that assertion. These pilots enabled prior boards to significantly upgrade county schools and improve services, but these funds came from traditional, unsubsidized business models. Today, LNG pilots are funded by foreign entities that buy American LNG. However, pilot payments from data centers would largely come from a problematic source, our checkbooks. A large portion of the funds for new data centers would come from a skewed business model in which regulators divert a significant portion of costs for new power generating capacity and upgrading high voltage transmission lines from the billionaire owners of data centers to us. That distorted cost allocation means that a significant portion of data center pilot payments to the county would come from us. We would be effectively subsidizing multi-billion-dollar corporations. That in turn would be returning some of our funds to your county budget. In your advocacy for these facilities, you have not addressed this potential financial harm for us, your constituents. Nor did you support state efforts to redirect these costs back to data centers because you don't want to dissuade data managers from coming here. This skewed financial dynamic raises a fundamental question that you need to address. If you won't conduct the studies necessary to identify the financial impact of new data centers on our electrical rates, how can you even consider approving such facilities here if they would substantially increase electricity costs, not just for us residents, but also for your offices, our hospitals, schools, businesses, museums, and retirement communities? Many of us are already suffering from significant increases in our electrical bills. Commissioner Grasso reported that her electrical bill tripled in February. Over and above increases in residents' electrical bills, Asbury's chief operating officer asked residents in their April newsletter to avoid unnecessary electrical consumption because electrical costs are rising. In 4 to 8 years, most of you will be gone from this board. but we could have to live with a long-term drain on our finances if you approve new data centers here without conducting a thorough examination of the financial and environmental consequences of those facilities for us. We strongly believe that we need at least a one-year moratorium on approving data centers to conduct thorough studies. If you don't approve them, continue to frustrate residents' efforts to identify the potential risks from these facilities and approve data centers, you will be long remembered for your failure to protect our interests, even though we are explicitly asking you to do so. Thank you for this opportunity to address you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Megan Farringer. I'm from
Hold
Lusby.
on 1 second. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'm so
I was
sorry.
resetting. No, you're good.
I'm speaking individually, so you can go
Okay.
ahead and set the clock. I'll start when you're ready.
Perfect. Thank you.
As someone who just so hopes one day to be able to call myself a mom, as I'm struggling through my own journeys right now, I just want you guys to know something. One daycare, one preschool, 3 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 1 high school, less than 5 miles away from a proposed data center. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carl Elwine, speaking for a group, and that would be Camp Kenoi residents.
Oh, give me 1 second.
Yeah. Word's getting around. When I first started giving these public statements, my goal was to inform, and I'm heartwarmed. I do want to mention off script that would be my backyard, that sound. That was unscripted. Commissioners Grasso, Hance, Ireland, Cox, and Hart, hello. Keeping this cordial, and I wish we had a better method for public to speak and engage with the county commissioners back and forth and questions and answers. That would be something that we could work on in the future. Concerning Commissioner Cox's recent interview, it's paraphrased: 11 devices per household, healthcare, mammograms, CT scans. AI is driving that. Banking online, education, planning your fields, AI is driving that. In my opinion, that's a pitch from Constellation and the Data Center Alliance, co-chaired by Julie Oberg, Director of Economic Development for Calvert County. Concerning Constellation, please know I'm not talking about the day-to-day operation of the employees at the nuke plant. That's Constellation Nuclear. I'm talking about Constellation and the Property Development Group. That group has no idea how to run a nuke plant. They do know how to develop property. Constellation President and CEO, Joe Dominguez, Dan Egers, Senior VP, Finance and Data Economy, David Dardis, Senior VP, External Affairs and Growth Officer. Those are the top executives at Constellation. That's nothing to do with the nuke plant, right? include that into that list, the local on-site property development staff. They think it's best to not speak to the neighbors. They cut off any chance of communication to us. They cut it off. We've been begging them to communicate and have a dialogue with Camp Kenoi residents, and it's like, sorry, it's best not to speak. That's their opinion. All right, concerning Constellation, the powered land strategy, that's where they pair the existing electric generation assets with available land and grid access to provide data center operators with a faster speed to market. That's the sales pitch and marketing strategy that was sold to Calvert County. My neighbors and I are not convinced, and neither should any Calvert County resident who pays a SMECO bill. Let's back up a few years. Constellation has been trying very hard to go behind the meter. Behind the meter means taking almost 900 megawatt electric generation produced by one unit of Calvert Cliffs 2 units and diverting that away from the public electric grid, the PJM, and feeding it directly to their new customer, Amazon. That behind the meter process was very popular a few years back, but now the public knows the effect of allowing behind the meter, less power available for the grid. There's been political pushback and even pushback from PJM and the NERC and the FERC, but who knows what the policy is today because that's been going back and forth. Mark my words, Constellation is trying to find a way to go behind the meter. Behind the meter will take from the grid and push the SMECO bill most certainly up. Make sure that Constellation is banned from going behind the meter. I'm serious. Make sure that that happens. Don't let them do it, please. All right, now Commissioner Cox, you say just 20 homes are affected. You said you were proactive with data centers, going to Loudoun County, seeing what they did right and what they did wrong. You mentioned it. When first approached for data centers, you were proactive and in the middle of a rewrite of the comprehensive plan. You mentioned that you made it more restrictive for data centers in I-1, I-2. That turned out to not be true. You actually allowed expansion of I-2 areas by the Constellation, that rezoning of the 786 acres. That was forest and farming. It wasn't currently industrial. The comprehensive plan states that I-2 must be in current industrial areas with a current infrastructure. That's all I have time for. If we had a better dialogue, let's get into that, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm speaking on behalf of Chesapeake Ranch Estates neighborhood. Good morning.
Please state your name,
Commissioners.
sir.
My name is Jeff Dixon. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Why are you so against a 2-year moratorium about data centers? Aren't we worth an environmental impact study? Just because another teleconcept map cuts most of my neighborhood off doesn't mean we won't be affected. We learned after the fact that the Dominion 60-foot concrete sound barrier wall does not block sound. We still hear the industrial noise. Mistakes from the past still have consequences in the forever future. If we got the quantitative risk assessment back then, mistakes could have been avoided about noise pollution. I refuse to believe the surrounding trees will block sound if a solid 60-foot concrete wall can't, especially during the winter months. It's like a spaghetti strainer trying to block water. I live almost a mile away from Dominion and still hear the industrial noise. There's homes even closer to Dominion. If you are serious about protecting our schools, then data centers shouldn't be allowed to build within 5 miles near schools. We already have 5 schools near inside that area. They say children are the future. Don't they deserve the same clean air to breathe? Don't they deserve the same peaceful environment to study and learn? Don't they deserve the same quality of life you lived growing up here? Data centers operate 24/7 during and after school hours. It's plain shameful that past heavy industrial zone areas are approved so close to established homes and neighborhoods. They should have at least a 5-mile radius buffer zone, in my opinion. My point is, we don't need to make those same neighborhoods worse. I also believe if I can hear the noise, I can breathe the pollution coming from the facility. I've shared the data center video from NBC from March 23, 2026, which is pretty recent. So this is not old news. I moved here about 20 years ago. I'm not an outsider agitator. I'm not a paid protester. This is home for me. Please do not turn Lusby of Maryland into the next Loudoun County of Virginia. Unless you change your mind against a 2-year moratorium for more studies, Hans, Cox, and Ireland won't have my votes and maybe 4,000 voters inside the entire Chesapeake Ranch Estates neighborhood. We need a 2-year moratorium, thanks. And I noticed there's some new people that didn't get to see the video, so I'm going to replay it again so they know what Loudoun County is experiencing now. Hopefully I can get this to work. Here it goes. All right, well, I might have to start it up again.
Hovering over your neighborhood all day and night. It's kind of what it sounds like at a data center in the Ashburn area. Residents started to notice the constant humming over the weekend. Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey found the trouble spot and then tried to find out why this data center is so noisy. You can't miss the loud drone driving along Loudoun County Parkway near Waxpool Road. Even rolling up the window doesn't drown it out. And the closer you get to this data center, the noise grows louder, especially on the Loudoun County Parkway side. We measured the sound using an app and hit 90 decibels, a level considered high that requires ear protection if there's sustained exposure. Some residents started posting about the noise on the Ring app over the weekend. Some of them live miles away and could still hear this. Among the posts, anyone hear the low frequency hum in the area? I'm over a mile from the nearest data center. Never really noticed it this loud until now. And another, heard it all night until 2 p.m. or so, then it stopped for a while. Now it's running again. I live 5 miles from there. Yet another resident reported driving by and seeing black smoke coming from the top, something we saw too. We drove to a neighborhood at least a mile away in Sterling and could hear a much softer but still detectable drone. We learned this is one of several Cloud HQ data centers in the area. At a shopping center across Waxpool on the quieter side of the data center, we asked folks grabbing lunch to listen. Did you notice that drone at all when you were over here? I mean, not really. Now that you mentioned it.
So basically, we need to get the 2-year moratorium for more studies. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. My name is Kenneth Lee. I'm from Huntingtown. I'm not going to sit up here and complain about the data centers today because you all know how everybody in here feels. I can't say everybody, but most people in this county feel about it already. You three really got to look at this and see what's going on. I mean, I don't think that everybody's asking too much. We need to slow this thing down. We need to put a moratorium on it, hit the reset button, and stop it for right now. The amendments just allow this whole process to continue on like a freight train until it's too late. Then nobody can do anything about it. I spoke to a private citizen this weekend, and her husband drove up to Virginia where these data centers are, and they sat down in a field to have lunch, and they noticed something. There were no bees, no birds, and yet most of you guys on this committee are farmers, so you say. If you really care about this environment and you really care about the people here of Calvert County, you need to stop and listen to them. They're not just speaking to deaf ears, I would certainly hope. All I can say is let's set the moratorium in place. Let's act human. And we all got to live here together. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I have never come here to speak, but felt implored to. I am Andrea Smith. I'm representing myself and my family. Brought my 2 kids with me. And we, although we live in the northern part of the county, we want to come here to help represent some families. And I know I'm not in official capacity of representing families. However, I've lived in the county for 13 years. My husband is a firefighter in Alexandria. I'm not going to stand up here and give you statistics and give you research. Neither of those are my expertise. However, I think you can all understand how those work. And you have been told by many scientists and researchers over the last month plus on the effects of these data centers and what they will do to our county, to our community. Before we left the house, my son, sitting right over there, his name is Eli, said to me, "What is the point in going? They're not listening." So if you think that your legacy is going to be a mountain of cash for our county, let me be very, very clear that your legacy to the future here is that you're not listening to us. That is what it will be. We need a moratorium at the bare minimum so that we can stop panicking, so that we can relax a little, so that we can do impact studies to see how this is actually going to affect our community and the future for our children. So if you truly are listening, you see my 2 children, the future of this county, staring right at you. And I want you to look at them and tell them that you're listening. And if you're honestly listening and truthful about that, then continue on with your charade, okay? But if you continue on with this, we will just get louder. Thank you.
Thank you.
Margaret Dow, Sunderland, speaking for myself. Last week I attended the conversation with Thomas Natale, who is spearheading a data center in Lusby. I witnessed his dismissiveness towards your people who were justly concerned about data centers. This scenario is playing out all across our country. Tech giants via developers infiltrated local governments with NDRs, promises of significant revenue, and a guilt trip of, quote, not being left behind. But to play, they all had to keep a secret. So now what? Last week, this board met with SMECO representatives to discuss high energy use data centers. Commissioner Cox said he heard that Constellation was, quote, considering an expansion. SMECO's representative said that he had not heard that. Why is that a problem? Sort of a cart before the horse problem? We have an aging nuclear power plant founded in the last century, in the 70s. Yes, it has been updated. Yes, it is safely supplying Maryland with 40% of its power. Today, that plant is at 1790 megawatts. If a new data center comes in requiring 500 megawatts of power, where is that power coming from? From the 40% we supply to Maryland? A sure bet is that Constellation will upgrade. But with an aging infrastructure, is that a realistic fix today? I'd check. Today, 40% of Maryland's power is generated in Pennsylvania. But guess what? Pennsylvania is building data centers. Constraining the grid means higher bills. It's a mess. Maryland has an energy deficit, and Calvert County does not need to add to it. Why? Because we are one of the most affluent counties in the state. We weren't always. When some of you gentlemen were growing up in the tobacco fields, like I did, we were the poorest. Today is different. We need to understand that no amount of revenue from data centers is worth endangering our communities, our power plant, and our trust. We can get this right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jason Skaggs, owner of Skaggs Excavating and current candidate for County Commissioner. The level of distrust in the government today over the fast tracking of a potential data center is incredible. I've been here for 46 years and I've never seen it this bad. Recently, I've spent a lot of time in Lusby, and the one thing I've learned from residents down there is that they need to have a voice in a project of this size. Personally, I am extremely offended that as a local landowner, it took me 5 years to get a permit for a kids' sports facility in Dunkirk on 3 acres. Yet this government is prepared to fast track a permit for AWS on 200 acres of clearing. This board has voted down a moratorium even on a short 6-month delay. Today I offer an alternative. I respectfully demand that any data center go through the same permit process you make everyone in this room go through. This delay in approval will be at least 2 years, giving time for all of us to learn more about these things and make a decision as a community on whether or not we want it in Calvert. One thing this current election cycle has shown is that there will be turnover on this board. This delay will allow the citizens' voice on data centers to be heard at the ballot box before any approval is given. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy Elwine, Camp Conway Road. There seems to be a misunderstanding within the community and possibly even with some of the commissioners about the zoning of the land where Amazon wants to build 8 or more data centers. The acres directly surrounding the nuclear power plant have been zoned industrial since the plant was built in the 70s, but we're talking about the 800 acres south of the plant, directly adjacent to Calvert Cliffs State Park, where there is nothing but forest. That land has been zoned forest and farming for many decades. That was a problem for Constellation because they wanted those data centers, and data centers can only be built on land that is currently zoned heavy industrial and that currently has supporting infrastructure. Well, there is no infrastructure in the forest, and it's totally inappropriate for any kind of industry, as it's filled with ravines and creeks that feed into the bay, along with a great amount of wildlife, some of which is endangered. There are rules in place for how to rezone property. If, say, Farmer Jones had 800 acres that he wanted to rezone, he'd have to mail notices to every affected neighbor and post signs on the borders of the land. Constellation didn't want to do that because they knew the neighbors would object. So they went to the commissioners, and the commissioners simply wrote the rezoning into the comprehensive plan. One day, the zoning map showed the 800 acres as forest and farming, and the next day it showed those same acres rezoned to heavy industrial. Poof, just like that. No pesky notices needed. The commissioners just made it happen. That sounds a bit irregular to me. Now that the 800 acres are zoned heavy industrial, they're allowed to clear cut up to 85% of the forest. So while you commissioners make noises about protecting the wildlife and the environment, you're giving one landowner permission to clear cut a massive amount of forest. Your hypocrisy is nauseating. Oh, and by the way, this 800 acres is also designated priority preservation. It is illegal to rezone a preservation area into heavy industrial, and yet it was done. Commissioners, please do the right thing and rezone this beautiful acreage back into forest farming as it has been for decades. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is it okay if I stand up with him while he speaks?
Sure.
My name is Eli. I am 11. I've lived here my whole life. I just wanted to say, how would you feel if this was happening to you and you were one of us and you would do the same thing and there were people that are doing this? How would you feel if that was happening to you? And does anyone like mosquitoes here? Because bats are going to be going away because they use echolocation, so we'll have even more mosquitoes now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Pam Warner, and I'm representing myself. I wasn't going to speak, but I was just approached by a police officer after holding up a piece of green paper, and I was told I'd be removed if I held up any other paper. He then approached someone else who held up a piece of paper, and I presumably told him they'd be removed. Whatever your instructions are, we all know those prohibitions have not been enforced until today. I hold up a piece of paper to silently express my support or opposition to what is being said. We're not disrupting any hearing. We're not interfering with any other speakers. It's called exercise of First Amendment rights. Thank you.
My name is Eleanor, and I am 9 years old, and the data centers are going to affect a lot of people in that area, and some families have kids there, and they are thinking about moving, and some people have stayed there their whole life. So by putting the data center there, you are affecting people's lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shanna Goddessart. I'm a Calvert County resident. 80% of our country is impacted by drought. Maryland is federally labeled as being in a drought disaster. We are experiencing the worst spring drought in recorded U.S. history. We are not only lacking rain, but are now into our warmest spring on record. Our region has been drier than normal for 3 years. NIDIS estimates that Southern Maryland will have extreme drought this summer. Our farmers and their harvests that we depend on for survival are already horribly impacted and are eligible for emergency aid. Why are we not talking about how data centers will only exacerbate these problems? Data centers create heat and use so much water that Amazon hides its water consumption by not disclosing calculations for water needed in generating the electricity to power them. Internal leaked memos show Amazon chooses, quote, to account for only a smaller water usage figure as to minimize the risk to its reputation. Calvert does not have the infrastructure in place to support hyperscale data centers or large residential developments. This is not steady growth, but irresponsible and uncontrolled. Allowing the wealthy to further enrich themselves off of our community's literal demise is repugnant. In 1779, John Adams wrote, quote, "The government is instituted for the common good, not for profit, honor, or private interest of any one man, family, or class of men." Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Anybody online?
Brady, do we have anybody online?
There are 3 people online. If anyone wishes to speak, please use the raise hand function on Teams or press star 5 on your telephone. Caller ending in 2953. We are ready to receive your comments. Please state your name and address and whether you will be speaking as an individual or as a designated representative of a group. Please use star 6 to unmute your phone or press the unmute button in Teams.
Okay, it took a little while to get through. Sorry about that. This is Kathy Decker, Lesby, speaking on behalf of Calvert Citizens for Student Safety and Responsible Development. The first thing I want to do is kudos to Eli and Eleanor for getting up there and speaking. Well done. It is a stunning display of irony to listen to this morning's agenda. You have issued proclamations for National Water Safety Month and Children's Mental Health Awareness Week. These celebrate vital issues, our water and our children's well-being. But a proclamation is only as good as the policy that supports it. Your action regarding industrial data centers are in direct conflict with the words you read into records this morning. You are celebrating the month, but you are failing the mission. You cannot claim to champion this cause while clearing a path for an industry that consumes millions of gallons of water daily. How do you celebrate this while entertaining plans to place 24/7 industrial noise pollution next to our schools? Science isn't quiet on this. Chronic, low-frequency noise erodes student concentration and spikes cortisol. A piece of paper with a seal doesn't protect a child's brain. A student safety zone does. The lack of transparency here isn't just an oversight, it's a glaring breach of public trust. In 2018, this county was gifted 100 acres and $4.1 million specifically and exclusively for a regional park. Those are restricted assets. You cannot legally pivot that land to industrial use just because you've managed the budget into a corner. If you need revenue, look at industries that fit our character: maritime tourism, eco-recreation, and agritourism. A world-class regional park would be bringing visitors in to support our local shops and without sucking our wells dry. For months, this board has used a semantic shield, telling us there's no applications. As of today, that shield is gone. But the submission of a partial application only tells half the story. I am now asking for the other half. Does a letter of intent, a memorandum of understanding, or any preliminary agreement exist regarding the industrial development of these sites? If there is no secret, then you should have no problem confirming that on the record that no LOI or MOU exists. Between the Nutella and Amazon proposals, you are creating a hazardous concentration of infrastructure in District 1. By co-locating data centers with Calvert Nuke facility, you're creating a single point of failure for our region. You're placing the brain of the digital economy next to the heart of the power grid. Has the county conducted a formal co-located hazards analysis to determine if the dwindling volunteer fire and rescue services can handle a simultaneous incident at both a nuke plant and a massive scale data center? We know data centers rely on massive array of lithium-ion batteries and thousands of gallons of diesel fuel. If a fire breaks out at Amazon's site at the same time as a security event at the cooling issue at the nuclear plant, do we have the mountain power? Do we have the water? Or will the first responders be forced to choose which to prioritize while the families and lesbians are caught in the middle? Commissioner Hansen, in his recent campaign, admitted that our volunteering base is dwindling, that we've already been forced to fund paid career EMS staff and at a massive cost to taxpayer, and that our fire services may be the next to domino fall. You're telling the people that our budget is underwater because we can no longer rely on volunteers to provide the safety we need. Yet you are pushing for data centers that create a permanent specialized drain to those same resources. These facilities aren't self-sufficient. They require additional police to secure the area, specialized personal fire training in the industrial hazards, and even more paid EMS to cover the high voltage risks that bring to our backyard. You are complaining about a budget crisis while inviting an industry that creates a massive ongoing invoice for public safety. You're digging a hole to fill a hole. You're telling us that this industry brings revenue, but you're ignoring the fact that the taxpayers will be one subsidizing the police and the fire protection for these multi-million-dollar giants. We want a clean reset of zoning ordinance and an immediate establishment of a student safety zone. We want the park we were promised. If you won't protect our water and our children, you have failed your primary duty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller ending in 4164, we are ready to receive your comment. Please state your name and address and whether you'll be speaking as an individual or as a designated representative of a group. Please use *6 to unmute your phone or press the unmute button in Teams.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, awesome. Yeah, my name is Dylan Johnson. I live in St. Leonard. I'll be speaking for myself. I'm going to touch on the data center stuff moving forward, so I'm going to run through it quickly. Basically, I'm going to start with the electric bills. I heard a lot about that. If it's tied into the PGM grid, regardless of location, the bills are going to be affected. The only difference is if they're located in our county, we can get some of the benefits of them based on tax revenue, since we are a taxable county that taxes them based on assets. And then to the lady that played the video, the noise, much like Jeff Dixon, we have no submitted plans on what the data center would even be producing, and that does strongly affect the noise emitting from the building. You know, and quite honestly, like playing videos of sounds or other newscasts is just kind of ridiculous in my opinion. To the Camp Canoy neighbors, simply put, man, it's private land. It's owned by Constellation. I know that you guys are concerned with them building close to you, and I would be as well. So I urge you to, instead of supporting a moratorium, that you go ahead and support text amendments that would create a forest buffer and a distance buffer, so that way if they do end up building anything on their own private land, that will at least provide you the buffer so you don't have to look at it or see it anymore. As far as everyone talking about the Environmental Commission being requested to do expert studies and this and that, this weekend, Dr. Jeanette Wisnowski, who was part of that commission, posted a video driving past a data center under construction. In that video, she asked if the generators were, quote, the big batteries, and then said, no, they must be a turbine after someone pointed out that they were engines. Those were the standby generators, the Tier 4 generators that she claimed to know about. So keep that stuff in mind, search facts, and wait for a plan, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If anyone else wishes to speak, please raise your hand or press star 5. There are no additional speakers at this time.
Commissioners, we do have one citizen in the audience that would like to speak.
Good morning. I'm Myra Gowans, and I'm representing Calvert Citizens United. And I just want to say you all have done an amazing job of hanging tough together. Thank you. I'm going to talk to you today about Kelly McConkey and what's going on. And I want the citizens to know, and that's why I'm using this microphone. First of all, Kelly McConkey says, and he also stated this when he ran for office and with the Board of Ed, that he lives in 3rd District. He lives on a dump up in 3rd District, if you're talking about the property that's up there on Brickhouse Road. Now, Kelly McConkey has signed a document, shown a driver's license to Gail over at the Board of Elections. Now, he showed the address as the property up on Brickhouse Road. The man has lived off Doris Drive since 1997. He owned the property with his mom, and then it was deeded to he and his wife. Mom was taken off the property. What is happening is he is lying to everybody, and he's using his ability to get back on to the Board of County Commissioners through deceit. Now, I told you all about this, and I was hoping that you all would look into it, and you have not. I've asked in the state, you have not. Now, let me just show you this document. This document says that Kelly McConkey and his wife live at 1021 Doris Drive in Owings, Maryland. Okay? Is that their principal residence? He says yes. On this document that I obtained from the county. All right? Now, He also says that he's lived there since 1997, had title to the property. Okay? Now, here's the other document that I achieved by asking for it only. He says that the address that he has is Brick House Road, 2951 Brick House Road. Is that his principal residence? No. He says it right here in writing. No, it's not my principal residence. Now, to add insult to injury and confuse the matter, he is Kelly D. McConkey. His son is Kelly P. Patrick McConkey. On this document, what it says is that he sometimes goes by Kelly P. He uses his son's name, his initial, and it's stated in this document quite clearly. Now, the other thing that we have, adding insult to injury, is the fact that when he was running for the school board, you all, a few of you all sitting here, signed a document stating that he lives in 3rd District. He's always lived in 2nd District. What the heck is going on with you all by protecting our citizens and our voting? Now, I have an appointment with the state this coming week. And if I don't get help from them, I will go to I will end up going up to the governor because he signed our bill, the McConkey bill. All right? I've talked to the League of Women Voters, and they said, "What? Have you told the commissioners this?" I said, "Yes, I did, about 6 weeks ago or whatever." Now, I've also talked to the Democrats. I talked to them because they need to know what in the world's going on. And they are now engaged in this. And our Board of County Commissioners sits here like, well, what can we do? You can be proactive. You can tell this man that this is what's going to happen to him. If he does not change his address to Doris Drive in Sunderland, Owings, where he's lived since 1997 with his wife, if he does not do that, he will never run for office again. He will be taken, that right will be taken away. Now, as I stand here, I just would like to be able...
Ms. Cowan, your
Yes.
time is up.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
I would like to be able to hand this document to our county attorney and put it in her hands. And I would like also to have her give it to planning and zoning. That's P&Z, and that should be here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that takes us to commissioner reports. Commissioner Grasso.
On April 29th, I attended a CCAC Staff Appreciation Awards ceremony. On the 30th, attended a legislative wrap-up that the chamber put on at BIA. Senator Harris was in attendance, had very great conversations with him. On Saturday, I attended the Calvert County Minority Business Alliance luncheon. They were celebrating 20 years of existence. And last night we had our first forum. It was a Farm Bureau forum, which was very successful. And I'd like to wish all the moms out there a happy Mother's Day on Sunday. But Sunday is even more special than Mother's Day because Miss Charlie Britton will be celebrating her 9th birthday on Mother's Day. So happy birthday, Charlie. Also, I'd like to make a motion to put into place a 12-month moratorium in Calvert County.
Second.
Commissioner Grasso, just to clarify
Yes.
your motion, As you know, there are steps that need to be taken in order to put in place a moratorium. So are you, as your motion, requesting to explore the possibility of a 12-month moratorium?
I will rescind my moratorium motion, and I will defer to my fellow commissioner, Commissioner Hart.
Commissioner Hart?
So I would like to make, I'm going to preface it with, once again, I believe AWS is in the process of submitting that permit. Is that correct? We should have that ready to post soon.
Yes, sir.
We don't have the text amendments up to date or in place. We have not had our environmental commission in. They will be here
June 2nd.
sorry?
According to their availability, June 2nd.
June 2nd. I've gone through the reasons several times. We've heard many people speak, especially the folks down Camp Kenoi, about the zoning, rehashing. We're not ready or equipped to handle anything like this. So I believe, County Attorney, you said the steps are, I must make a motion to go into a public hearing to implement.
You can't, let me make this, with respect to a moratorium, there needs to be a public hearing, there needs to be other steps, notice and what have you. So if you're asking to explore the steps of a public moratorium or a moratorium, then that's to your discretion. But there has to be notice of a public hearing, and there has to be a public hearing before anything is done with respect to a moratorium.
So I have the one motion that I've made several times. So to go back to that motion, just to understand the steps again, I need to make a motion to go into a public hearing to explore the moratorium so that that could be brought forward again. Is that correct?
You can make a motion to request that steps be put in place for a public hearing, if that's your desire and if that's the board's desire.
Yes, ma'am. So I'd like to make the motion to go into the public hearing to explore revisiting my moratorium for 2 years based on the EIS statement and everything I put in there and previously. Is that acceptable?
That's an acceptable motion, but obviously the presiding officer, which is Commissioner President Ireland, will be the one to determine whether or not that's not a proper motion or court order.
Well, we'd have to get voted on, right? So I need a second.
Correct.
So I need a second first.
Second.
Okay.
So I have a motion and a second to Commissioner Hart's motion. Is there any discussion?
Yes, there's a comment on my part. I know originally these ground rules were laid, and Commissioner Hart fulfilled the ground rules, and we've been voting on these moratoriums. I know since we didn't get a 2-year moratorium for the people, for our community, that we dropped it down to 12-month to see if that would be more palatable for our fellow commissioners. Then last week I made a 6-month suggestion, or I'm sorry, not a suggestion, but I made a motion for a 6-month moratorium. In the past 2 weeks, we've not been told what we just heard from our county attorney. So I'm kind of wondering why this is coming up now when week after week we've been trying to get a moratorium for the community. And so I guess what you're saying, Attorney Lucas, is that the 12 and the 6 month did not follow the proper channels, so now we can revert back to Commissioner Hart's original 2-year moratorium, which did follow the proper channels. Is that correct?
No, I think Commissioner Grasso, there may be a misunderstanding or perhaps of how it's to be interpreted. Any motion that comes before the board with respect to a moratorium, there has to be a public hearing. There are steps that need to be in place in order for a moratorium, whether it's 1 year, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. I think Attorney Mattingly, who was here a few weeks ago, had stated and had explained to the board that a 2-year moratorium certain has a higher hill to climb, so to speak, than a 6 months or 1 year. moratorium. So I believe that may be where the miscommunication is. So should Commissioner Hart desire, well, he's already made the motion, should the board desire to approve or deny, or his moratorium motion is entirely up to the board.
Okay, and I second it.
All right, so a motion.
I would like to discussion a little bit, Mr. President.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to Commissioner Hart's motion. It's open for discussion. Commissioner Cox, go ahead.
So my 20% is we've already started with some text amendments through this BOCC. The Planning Commission and Environmental Commission has also started their process in the text amendments. So I would like to see maybe something.
Can you speak into your mic, sir? They can't hear you.
I would like to see something tied to them text amendments, Mr. President. That's,
All right, we need to clear this motion, if that's the case. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
No. The motion did not carry.
So, Mr. President, we've been working on, as Commissioner Cox said, text amendments for the last 3 months. I think we proposed 6 or 7 to address all the concerns we've heard from the citizens. I think the Planning Commission met with the Environmental Commission 2 weeks ago, and I think that they're also working on text amendments to address the concerns raised by the Environmental Commission, which address environmental impact studies, sound studies, lighting requirements, buffers, setbacks, and air text amendments talked about banning the use of aquifer water and highest, cleanest technology for generators. I'm trying to remember now, but there's about 15 text amendments that are in works.
In the works.
In the works to address the concerns, other than people that, just don't want them. These text amendments at least address the concerns, issues raised, requiring certain studies to be done before anything can move forward. And we've talked before about, until you actually have a site plan, the data centers are all completely different. And they've given notice that they are ready to submit an application at some point in time. We don't know when that is. So I have a motion today, and it's very legalese, but the intent is to tie any building permit issuance to having those text amendments fully vetted and in place. And that's a public process for text amendments. There are public hearings. And there's plenty of opportunity for input from anyone, and the Planning Commission will work through those text amendments. And then I think they come back to us for final approval, correct, Madam Attorney?
Commissioner Hans, with respect to that motion, currently the zoning ordinance does not permit that. So that would be a change to the zoning ordinance, which would also require a public hearing.
Correct. So I have a motion that's very legalese that should meet the requirements. I move that we direct staff when drafting the adopting ordinance for any upcoming text amendments on data centers to include language providing that such text amendments shall apply to any project that has not received all necessary final site plan approval and final permit approvals and that has not been vested by construction. Second.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor to Commissioner Hans's motion. Discussion.
So I have a question. So with AWS putting that permit in potentially today, is that correct?
Last night.
Last night?
They started.
So with them not knowing these text amendments, how would that work with their permit? Would staff be now all of a sudden going through the process, going through conceptual approval, doing all the things, and now all of a sudden these text amendments come and it's back to scratch? I mean, is that, so they just crumble it up and throw it away?
The motion is that they have to abide by all the text amendments that are currently put in place.
But we don't even know what all those text amendments are yet.
No, we don't.
So it's back to the chicken and the egg that we keep doing every week. Wouldn't the most prudent thing be to stop the process, and if the proper process is to use text amendments, to put into place, put these parameters in, which may be what through the moratorium would discover, wouldn't that be more prudent to put the hard stop on, get the proper text amendments in place? I mean, the Planning Commission, with all respect to them, they're not scientists. That's not what they do to study water or air. So to do their
The text amendments ask for those studies to all be done.
So how long time do they have to get that back?
Whatever it takes.
June 2nd, they're coming to us.
No, he's asking the Planning Commission how long they have. There's no time limit.
Right.
So the Planning Commission would have latitude to ask for all of these things. Now, as we've seen in the past, what if the will of the Planning Commission, though, is only 3 votes to 4? We've seen other projects where it's not automatic that it goes out to the Planning Commission. They're going to do these things because a member could disagree and say, well, I don't believe a water study is pertinent, or I don't believe this. They're not given a directive either. So they actually have to their ability.
I think this motion does give them that directive.
So we're going to direct them that they must do water studies. They must do air, distance, all this.
Everything.
County Attorney, can we legally direct them to vote for that?
We can't. The Planning Commission is a separate body that the
That was
Board of
what my
County
thought
Commissioners cannot. From what I understand from Commissioner Hans's motion, he was directing county staff with planning and zoning to tie these into their text amendments. That's separate from what the Planning Commission may or may not grant.
So we would direct staff to do these, to go out and get independent studies for all this, no matter how long it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Then send it to the Planning Commission for them to see it's compliant in there. So during that time that they're doing all of these things, meanwhile that permit's still sitting in there. What happens to it?
Just sits.
So that permit is dormant. That permit, staff will be directed not to act on any data center permits, whether it's grading, whether it's conceptual plan. Those permits must sit dormant until staff has the time to do its due diligence to get all these studies back, get it to the Planning Commission, get everything vetted through the comprehensive, make sure it's compliant through the comprehensive plan, and then back?
The motion is that they can't get a building permit until those ordinances have been adopted and met.
Yeah, but that's apples and oranges. Building permit means that's the final thing. That means everything else still goes. So that means they can have their conceptual plan, everything, have everything right there, and then that comes back. And then there.
But having the site plan helps educate the process.
And also with buffers.
So the site plan, the conceptual site plan comes in, these buffers, everything goes out. What if their plan is not consistent with what staff says?
Then it's got to be consistent.
To clarify, Commissioners Hanson and Hart, since you have the discussion right now, nothing is in place. Nothing is in the zoning ordinance. Any applicant would move through the process as it's currently written in the zoning ordinance.
Right, and right now there's no buffers, there's no anything. So right now it's a Wild Wild West, and that's why I say we're to put this in place without any rules, any regulations. Even the state of Maryland's working on things right now. We don't know what their laws are going to be. What's that due? September? Is that correct?
September. They haven't even started.
So
they haven't even started.
But
they've got 90 days to write the report.
But as you and I have seen,
but in 90 days, Commissioner Hart, with all due respect, you're saying it's going to take us 2 years. How's the state going to draft a plan in 90 days? Have not started yet.
Because I've seen traffic studies done in 30 days that I
do
not agree with.
Why do you need 2 years?
Why do we need 2 years? Because we have zero in place.
State's going to do it in 90 days.
Well, maybe they're just that good.
Well,
but I've seen traffic studies in 30 days. We had a Planning Commission member state how a traffic study, you were there, was not up to date. In 30 days, it was magically done back.
But all they had to do was update it. It's not that hard to do.
No, because to do a current traffic, that's what had been 5 years old.
Yeah, all they had to do was update an old plan. It wasn't like they're starting from scratch.
No, but they didn't come out and watch the traffic. Things change in 5 years.
I don't
They didn't go
know
out.
whether they did
didn't
or
go out
not.
and run the cables out there. They didn't put cameras out there. I mean, that was a
I don't
pretty
know.
remarkable thing. And as was stated earlier, and I said it took Smile 4 years to get a parking lot. And some of these things. So I'm sorry if I don't have confidence in the consistency of how things roll out. That's why I'm questioning this so hard. So if we are going to make sure that these studies are done properly and everything's vetted wrong, what would be the harm of saying, okay, then we'll do how much time if the state you say does 90 days, how much time does our staff need?
Whatever it takes.
And also, may I interject, Commissioner Hance, you said environmental.
Mhm.
Are you talking about environmental studies? Who will be doing those studies?
They have to hire somebody.
So the data centers have to hire somebody.
Well, I don't think they trust the data centers to hire anybody. I think we have to. I mean, if we want it done.
Correct.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want to
No.
see their environmental studies.
We didn't have independent ones for the LNG facility,
So
and
we'd
we're
have
still
to.
talking about LNG today.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that I have concern about, and I think the public has concern as well, I'm going to be making a motion. I don't think it can be folded into this one. These data centers have to go through the same procedure every other citizen has to go through.
Yep.
No fast tracking. They have got to go through every procedure that our citizens go through. I don't want anything special done for them.
So this motion would include
Now,
no
now
fast track?
let me, yes, we
Sure.
probably should, but let me also ask you, I don't know, I don't, this has been such a crap show that I don't trust any of this, but let me ask you, how are we going to, once all of these studies are done and we have stuff in place, do you all have the stomach to turn down a data center?
I do.
So if so, then let's put the stop in place while we get these.
Let's go through the text amendments. No time limit.
But what is why not the stop? What's the difference? Because if they have to go to it anyway.
So what is the difference? What is the difference?
So what I'm saying
What is the difference?
Well, the big difference is because they can get everything done, all the groundwork done, and then all of a sudden, I think you're compliant.
That would be a big risk on their side.
Would it be?
Yes, it would.
Would it be?
It would.
Hey,
I mean,
we've got an end user out there that is bragging to the public. He's got his 3 votes.
I don't know.
Okay, so
He
know
might think he has what he has, but he might not have what he thinks he has.
he better not have what he thinks he
No,
has,
no.
because this has to.
If I may interject just a moment, Commissioner President Ireland. Just to clarify, the zoning ordinance is what it is right now. The text amendments still need to be presented. If you're directing staff through your motion to include what you just stated, the studies and what have you, nothing has changed as of this moment. These text amendments need to be approved by the county. First, the planning commission, and there has to be a public hearing. There's a number of steps, like I've noted before. So it sounds like perhaps the discussion is going forward in a manner that may be not timely at the moment, because the text amendments have not been approved. They have not been adopted. So everything that we're speaking of with respect to studies and what have you, that's all future talk, if indeed the text amendments are approved.
So, County Attorney, when would grandfathering be in place?
That would be something that, if indeed that's directed to the zoning staff to include in a text amendment, and if indeed those text amendments were approved and adopted by the board at some point in the future, that's when all that would take place. But currently, nothing is in place.
Correct.
The zoning ordinance is as it is.
And the intent is to eliminate grandfathering.
Excuse me?
The intent is to eliminate grandfathering.
Okay.
So I don't know who drafted this motion, But apparently they didn't draft it appropriately.
Which motion? The motion you just read?
The one I just read.
I don't know.
So would you have no grandfathering?
No grandfathering. That's the whole purpose here, is to make sure the text amendments
So
are
the
done
moratorium,
and finalized.
for some reason, that word is the boogeyman. But we could do a text amendment that had no grandfathering,
Mhm.
force them to go through every independent study, from noise, air, you name it, every single thing that I put into that moratorium. And you would be okay with that. But you're not okay with the moratorium that's just said all the things there. Is it the word?
It's the word.
So the word moratorium, so what does that say to you then? To me, it says it's a legal pause while we gather all the information before we grant permits or go forward or do anything like that. And even if that has to go back and relook at the zoning that was done.
That's a different issue.
Right, but what
is a
if
different issue.
but what if those buffers push back?
Then they push back.
So, and that's where I'm with Commissioner Grasso, because this has been such a fight. And I get salesmen every day. So no offense to me being cautious here, because I have people trying to sell me stuff every single day. So that your motion
Still eliminate grandfathering, basically.
would eliminate grandfathering. You put that in your motion, no grandfathering.
Yep.
So AWS, Natelli, anybody listening right now goes, hey, I'm wasting my time doing anything moving forward, purchasing any property, doing anything.
Then that's their decision.
Because when these studies come back, now who will make what's an acceptable buffer? Who will say that? Who will say what's an acceptable? So if an independent study comes back and says, okay, we've studied this and we've seen that a buffer must be a mile, 2 miles, be the only way to effectively eliminate noise or health threat, we're going to accept the study?
That's what it says.
So, county attorney, we make this today. In 2 weeks, we start having this work session. Is that correct?
That would be a question for zoning staff as to how quickly they could turn around text amendments and what have you in the language that you all,
Well, they would
that
need to be
Commissioner Haynes
directed.
proposed in his motion. I would be remiss in trying to answer for Director Brinkley.
Well, we have Director Brinkley and Director Cosgrove. Conveniently, right here in the front row, if you gentlemen could please come up here and add some 2 cents, and since you two would be the 2 directors that would handle all of this.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So text amendment process has already been in place with the zoning ordinance surrounding data centers. So if you could pick up there and moving forward, I guess would be the best avenue on this thing.
Sure. So we've had a couple of work sessions with you all on text amendments for data centers. We had a couple of work sessions with the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission has a list of, I'm not going to say recommended language, but recommendations as to types of text amendments that need to be, that they feel need to be considered. Right now, that is scheduled to come in front of you all on June 2nd. I think there's the plan is to have the Environmental Commission here on that same day. And then get direction from you all on which ones you want us to draft language for, because there's a list of a little over 20, and some of them are kind of duplicative. And once we draft that language, come back for a second workshop, probably later in June, to get green lit on whether this is the language you want, and then go back to the Planning Commission for a public hearing, and then back in front of you all for a public hearing. So you're looking at an adoption of sometime mid to late summer, based on our current trajectory, unless you guys want us to relook at things. I missed the motion that was made, but I may be able to offer a little clarification on where I think that conversation is. So Maryland is a late vesting state, which means that you all have the authority to make changes to the regulations up until the time that literally construction has started, that something is in the ground. So if you make these text amendments apply to any permits under or not permits, any development applications under consideration, any permits under consideration, as long as work has not actually been done as far as something in the ground, you are able to do that. They have to basically reset, so they'll have to modify plans or whatever need to be to come into compliance with the new text amendments that may or may not, whatever that end form will look like. They would have to come into compliance at that time, no matter if as long as they're not literally doing construction, gotten all their development site plans done, all permits done, they would have to, as long as they're not literally doing construction, which is only able to do after permits have been issued, and they would have to go back and modify that, which could restart that process for that entire project, depending upon how impactful that is to their project. And I know it was mentioned this morning, and you gave me the microphone, so here I am. We did receive yesterday evening documents from AWS on a data center. We haven't received payment. We don't know if those documents are sufficient. It's hundreds of pages of documents. So staff is reviewing that now. Nothing starts until they have made the application payments for that project. So they have to pay all us and environmental health, because environmental health has their own review fee. So nothing has, we are literally at ground start one. We don't know if the documents are sufficient. We don't know, but something has been submitted. The plan is, I think, for that to go on the county website once we have officially accepted that application, if it is in fact sufficient.
So, Jason, could you clear up something for me? So let's go back to water. And let's go back to a moratorium on water.
I'm sorry, Commissioners. I don't mean to cut you off, but we are in Commissioner's report. There is a motion that's been made. I think we need to stick as closely as we can to the motion, the discussion, any other further discussions regarding what Mr. Brinkley said with respect to AWS and what they're doing, and that will be either a work session or an old business or something. I think we're exceeding the parameter of what.
Nope, agreed.
Yes,
agreed.
Thank you.
So Director, to constitute, and I'm with your guidance, to clarify on the motion, Commissioner Hand said there be no grandfathering. And you said that nothing until it comes out of the ground, basically, is etched in stone.
Correct.
This permit that you received today, if there's no fast tracking, and I would like that on the record, to keep staff off the hook, that no one here is going to be directed to fast track. Is that correct? Is that a consensus of the board?
Amen.
Yeah, because based on working through the text amendments, fast tracking won't really help them, will it?
Well,
Director Brinkley?
but a clear answer is the direction and the consensus of the board. They will not be directed to fast track these applications. Because that's my no fast tracking from me.
We're going to go through the process.
Is so Commissioner Hart, you're asking Commissioner Hans to amend his motion, and Commissioner Hans, are you
Well, he
willing
had
to do
mentioned
so?
in his comments of the motion that there would be no fast tracking.
I can amend my motion.
Okay.
So I want to make sure clarity for staff, because we all know if they get 3 votes, they have to do as directed. So on the record, there'll be no fast tracking the process. So with that said, a concept application is only that. They would submit that, just to make sure I'm clear, because I don't want to get tripped up. God knows. They would stage 1, step 1, put that in to Commissioner Hans's motion, that now with that piece of paper in hand, the process would start of the studies, because Commissioner Cox, if I'm correct, you said they need that to know what to study. Is that what I'm hearing?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think a moratorium is sufficient, but obviously I am outvoted several times. I think the moratorium does that, but okay. So now from that point, we start gathering all the information. That permit sits still, because it cannot move forward until it answers, because you will, during the process, both of you gentlemen, have comments that you must submit back to make sure that that application is compliant before it can even go off to the Planning Commission. And that could take a year, year and a half, 2 years. Because as we've seen, permits don't happen overnight. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's no time limit.
What am I missing?
So I do want to clarify, because we use the words interchangeably. The first thing to be submitted is a development review application. It's a site plan. It's not a permit. Permits come after site plan.
Okay.
So we use those
Yeah,
words
please clean me up.
interchangeably, but
Yes.
that means something on the review side. So I think that needs to be clarified. Any project, any Category 1 project, is required to go through the development review cycle, which is heavily reliant on stormwater management. So you got concept, which is the first step. That has to go through a review cycle. Our typical review cycle is 30 business days, plus or minus, because you got to be able to intake it. So it's got to go through that cycle. It's going to get comments. It's going to get revisions that may or may not need to happen. Then it will go to the detailed site plan phase, and then it's after it sufficiently goes through that phase is when it will go to Planning Commission. And then if Planning Commission approves, and it will go to, you'll have your final plans that have to be reviewed and approved. So all of that, those 3 steps have to happen for any project. That review does take time. If you're directing us to not consider a fast track or anything of that, then that is, it's really as good as how the submissions are. If it's as good as your engineer is to be able to answer the questions that staff has, and it's multiple, I mean, it's potentially a dozen or more review agencies that will look at that, so you're going to have lots of comments. Now, concept is heavily reliant, and I'll let Director Cosgrove intervene if he has any more details, is heavily reliant on looking at your stormwater management plan and how you're handling stormwater management. So you may have less comments from other reviewers at that time, because that's your focus, because that may change reviews for citing and everything else.
And not to interrupt you, but we're changing the rules potentially, because we are now adding a layer that has never been in there before. So before you could even start to respond to comments out there, you would have to make sure you have all that information in place, and then they would have to come back and supply all of that in their permit before you could even start the comments.
So,
am I saying that right?
If I'm understanding you right, if we adopt through the text amendment process new regulations, they would have to revise their plan according to those regulations, and then it could restart, and likely would restart, most of the process. Now, you may have addressed some of the other concerns that maybe are not related to those topics, but yes, you most likely are going to look at restarting.
Could change the whole concept plan, because if the setbacks are 1.5 miles and you wanted 8 buildings, you might can only get 5.
Correct.
We're all on board with that?
But they could submit and they might meet. We don't know.
Correct. I mean, but it could, depending, because we're talking about theoretical text amendments that haven't been adopted, and as county attorney pointed out, or
and we're talking about a plan.
But what if it comes back and the environmental impact is damaging to where we just don't have the geography, and data centers just can't be done here?
If you can't mitigate it, you can't mitigate it.
Because, I mean, we have none of that information.
Nope, we don't.
So this board, if it comes back from the environmental commission or excuse me, who we send this out to, says we don't see a safe way to do this, or they come back with a recommendation that this board is going to stand back and say, well, data centers are no longer in the language here.
That's why we said we need a site plan to see.
We've said that all along.
Hopefully we have one. We don't know what's in the
That
document.
seems like a huge 180. So if not to sound suspect here, but I mean, like just sitting here, my 20%. I got guys ready to buy property. I got job listings. I got all this stuff. Now all of a sudden we're saying, okay, if you can't meet this tight, strict environmental plan, you might just have to go away. We're saying that.
I don't believe it was ever said differently.
Well, one thing that I would like to say is this is all well and good. I feel information that has come out has been very slow in coming. I don't feel that, let me just put it this way. I need assurances that as we go forward, I will be fully briefed, not an hour before we go live. I will be fully briefed. I will be a part of the process, which I have not been a part of. I don't want to bring stuff in front of these citizens and already have made decisions. I want public hearings to be real public hearings where they have the opportunity to study what we are going to be voting on and then get up and be able to talk and not just sit there and be like, it's already done.
Agreed.
That's not right. I want this to be collaborative because we have enough people in this community that have fears. I have fears. I can't go down this road unless my fears are put to rest. And I can't do that to 90-some thousand people. I know people say, well, you know, you're only hearing the minority squawk. Well, let's look at how people vote. In midterms, there's not many people who come out to vote. This is just the way it is. And if these people are going to bring this to the forefront to us with their concerns, it is incumbent upon us that we do this thing right. 110% right. Because I tell you, if I suspect I haven't been given information, if I suspect it hasn't been done right according to what I think is right, and that's what matters because I represent them, I'm going to raise hell. I am going to absolutely raise hell.
Now, will these findings, will we set up a website or something, an easy way for the citizens as these findings come in, that they can review these findings, that if you know?
It's just like any text amendment process. You go through public hearings, just like a site plan approval, you go through public hearings. All that information is public.
So Commissioners, Linda Turner, County Administrator. So now once we have a final submission from AWS, there is a process outlined in the comprehensive plan. We will follow the public process to the letter that's been already described. So this will be a public process. We do have a project page where we will upload the plans to the page as well as contact information to AWS, so that any resident that has project-specific questions, they can reach out directly to the applicant.
Any further discussion?
Can we read the motion again? We've talked so much. Can we get clarity?
Get your amendment.
Yeah. I move that we direct staff when drafting the adopting ordinance for any upcoming text amendments on data centers to include language providing that such amendments shall apply to any project that has not received all necessary final site plan and final permit approvals and that has not yet been vested by construction, and that no fast track process will be allowed.
Is there an environmental statement in that?
It's in one of the text amendments.
It will come in the text
Okay.
amendment, I'm assuming.
Okay, I just
All those things that have been brought up are in those text amendments. Every single thing is in the text amendments.
What am I missing, guys? You guys handle this stuff every day. Well, not data centers, obviously, but you guys handle water and sewer and setbacks and.
Yeah, but we can't.
I mean,
we're getting off track. Right, madam?
Yes, Commissioner
Okay,
Cox,
all right.
thank you.
So we have a motion and a second. We've had discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
I'm going to.
I don't know.
So to manage expectations on this, we should see these text amendments, or excuse me, to start to implement this to staff approximately when?
June
Second would be your,
Is
yeah.
Environmental Commission submitted. But they've already met with the Planning Commission,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
Yes.
And the Planning Commission's reacting to, they're going to present us the same information they presented them, right?
I suspect it's going to be the same, if not very similar.
And they're drafting up amendments or text amendments based on that meeting that they had, is my understanding.
I know the Environmental Commission meets between now and June 2nd, so I'm sure they'll have some documentation to present.
Right, and the text amendment, it might start in one form, but it can change as that process moves along. It's not final until it's final.
That's correct.
And it won't be final in the next month.
That's correct.
Yes.
I will vote for this if this is sincere.
Absolutely.
If this is sincere to protect the citizens, protect the environment, and be willing to walk away from that table, no matter how much damn money's out there. I don't care if it's $1 gazillion, to walk away from that table if there's any health risk. If this is sincere, because I don't want to get caught in some trick bag that, I didn't read page 47-9283, okay? In layman's terms, is this is a sincere attempt to put these citizens first, put the health first, walk away from anything, then I'm okay with that. But I don't want, hey, you did this, you did that, come back to bite me in the backside.
No real intent.
So you're
Can you please speak into your mic?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm going to have to vote no. I think conceptually this sounds great, but I haven't trusted the process thus far, and I know
haven't either.
And I know it's going to pass, but I'm telling you one thing: I'm going to be a watchdog over this. I better not be screwed out of anything. I better be a part of this, and the public better be a part of it as well.
And that's where I'm with Commissioner Grasso. If all that, like I say, I don't understand the play on words from moratorium to this. I don't. All I want is what's best for the community. I don't know why the moratorium is so hard to say. It's like when the Fonz couldn't say he was wrong in Happy Days. He couldn't say he was wrong. Everybody knew he was wrong, but he couldn't say he was wrong. Couldn't say the word. I don't understand why we can't say that word. It sounds like every single thing I've said is encompassed in this, but I'm with Commissioner Grasso. I don't trust anything. So, on the record, in front of all of you, this is what I'm hoping that I'm hearing, is that this is a sincere attempt. But there hasn't been any proof so far. And I know the votes are here to do that. There's 3 anyway, but I'm not trying to be some political thing where I'll stand back and go, and then if it works out, hey, I was with you guys. That's not what I'm all about. I just want it done right. I've always said that with everything. And if the commitment is can walk away from this at any time, to tell the data centers, hey, sorry about it. We don't want your business here. The scientists, the environmental people, the people that do this, if they deem these things are not safe for any given reason, they're too close, they're too loud, they're too anything, then they're just got to take their business outside of Calvert County.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to confirm, commissioners, can we just do a roll call of votes? Say yea or nay.
Sure.
Thank you. Commissioner Hart?
Okay.
Okay.
Yay.
Commissioner Grasso?
No.
Okay. Commissioner Hands?
Yes.
And Commissioner Ireland?
Yes.
Commissioner Cox?
Yes.
Thank you.
But I better not, this better be what it says it is.
Absolutely.
You said a lot. Do you have further commissioner comments?
I do. I do. I want to say
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair.
folks, I'm just being sincere with you. I'm looking for anything to help, and I'm hoping that this is what it says it is. But if not, I'll be screaming then as well. It's Correctional Officer Week. I can't thank them for the work that they do. They truly have the toughest job in Calvert County. They're special people. I want to thank them. I was at the CCAC awards as well. I'll say thank you to all of them. And at the Farmers Forum last night, there was a lot of good questions there. And Commissioner Grasso got me I wanted to say happy birthday to a special young lady, Charlie Britton. She will be 9 on Sunday, so happy birthday to you. And that's all I have.
Mr. Cox.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please keep in your prayers this week Catherine Gott, Kitty they called her, who passed away. Was her farm on Lower Marlboro Road? Was that
Yeah, I think so. I think it's Lower Marlboro Road.
Lower Marlboro Road. Yes, that's what I thought. So please keep her in the prayers. Also, congratulations to all the special education staff that got awards the other night. Very well attended. And also we attended District 27 legislation wrap-up, which was very well attended also. And to all the mothers out there, please have a great weekend and happy Mother's Day to all. You all have a great day.
Happy Mother's Day.
So I attended CCAC Awards too, which is really special. It's where the parents actually vote to recognize individuals that help those kids out in their system. So that was great. And the first time I went to that award, it was in the cafeteria, I think, over at the high school. It wasn't very many people there, and the other night it was probably, I don't know, 300 people there.
It's been like that last several
Yeah,
years.
it's really grown, so that's really good. I was at the legislative wrap-up, the one in Solomons, and then the one last week in North Beach with Senator Harris. I want to thank him for taking his time out of his busy schedule to show up and update us. And Saturday went to the Minority Business Association Alliance 20-year anniversary up at Bethel Way Church. If you haven't been to Bethel Way Church, if you get invited there for an event, you should go. That's a wonderful space there that they have. And we heard from the speaker, Dr. Singh, who told her story of how she grew up homeless, signed up for the military, and how it turned around her life and how successful she is today because of that. And but the highlight was the young lady that introduced her, who works for Constellation, whose name escapes me, but I've never heard an introduction like that in my entire life. I don't know if Commissioner Grasso has, but that young lady, she took us to church introducing the guest speaker. So that too was a great event. I left there and went to my grandson's baseball game, and they won 11-6. So Saturday was a good day. Thank you. That's all I have.
CCAC, like as Commissioner Hand said, it is a special night. A lot of those, that support staff, they're a special group of people without a doubt. I mean, a lot of those kids, that's their life. I mean, it's neat to hear the parent stories and when they talk about when they read their nomination forms for those that won. And so many parents take the time out to do the nominations as well. So, again, it was very well attended, and kudos to everybody that was there for doing what they do. The Chamber event at Bahia, again, with Senator Harris, that was good. Happy birthday to my grandson, Rowan. He's the big 2 today.
Big, really big.
That's what he told me this morning. There was a incident last Friday night in the beach. I reached out to Mayor Benton yesterday. First Friday, there was some issues over there, and he's working with the sheriff's office and staff and his staff to try to come up with a solution to that. Have all the confidence in the world that he and the town council and the sheriff's office will come to some resolution for that. So just wanted to let everybody know, because that was all over social media as well. That's all I have. Motion?
Mr. President, motion to adjourn.
Second.
So a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Everyone have a great day.